What are you known for?
Getting rich off crime.
You made money from crime, you went to prison, but before you went to prison, you bought Bitcoin.
And then when I come out, it was considerably high. Maybe 20.
20 million.
Yeah.
Stephen Ronald Bell is an Australian entrepreneur and former soldier who has transitioned from a tumultuous past to a successful career in business and finance.
His story shows how personal challenges can be overcome to achieve significant success in the business world.
What's your outlet in creativity?
I write poetry sometimes. I'd probably had my biggest breakthroughs in life from writing stuff in prison. So I'd sit in jail and every night I would write a letter to my ex, all the people that I've ever wronged in any way. And I did it again and again and again. And eventually like that guilt that I had just started to weigh off me and I felt come back. I have smoked DMT. I hit it, I get up to the top, so I feel like I'm having like an out-of-body experience. And then this figure grabs my face, pushes me back down to my body and tells me to fuck off, don't fuck with DMT. And I hit my body. Then I stood up and I was sober. We've done
Stephen
it.
Bell.
Good to see you, brother. Very good to see you. Thanks for getting me. I know you're a busy man now.
We've finally done it.
Yeah,
we finally done
I
it.
step into your office. It's a great spot.
We tried to
it's a
do
cool
it
way
a
to
few
do it.
times.
No, we did it. We finally got it.
Thank you. Appreciate you
Brilliant.
coming. We were just saying where he lives. We're talking about a girl I met in Monaco. Yeah. Lives here. And dude, these girls, we were talking before about how they're hustling, right?
Do.
This girl, when I was in Monaco, I find myself having lunch with Mansouri, the owner of Mansouri, and a developer that owns a big block of land on a man-made island, like around Blue Waters or whatever it is. And she's trying to do a collaboration to do a Mansouri building.
Okay.
You know how they got the Bugatti building?
Yeah.
Like this girl.
That's good. That's big dreams.
You know what I mean?
But I think if women can make that sort of stuff happen, right? Especially if they're hot.
100%.
Because everyone wants, if you could do a deal with a dude in the middle or a hot girl,
Yeah.
the hot girl can kind of squeeze that extra drop out of money and everything, right? Can make things happen.
So yeah, she lives here.
How'd she go?
She's only here for 2 months.
She's done it yet?
I spoke to her, how did that deal go? She goes, I'm actually working on something bigger than that.
Oof.
The developer didn't want to line themselves with Mansouri.
Yeah.
She's setting them up with Versace now.
Okay.
Versace doesn't have a building here.
That's not bad. It's good connects.
What the hell?
Good
like, we're
connects,
here hustling, risking
grinding,
everything.
we're partying.
Grinding.
She's just pretty.
You know? Yeah, that's
I'm not
it.
saying that she's not talented though. Who knows? She might be a good business lady.
She loves connecting people.
Okay, so
that's
she's
it.
a networker. Yeah, that's it. That's value. You know, if you're someone who can, you know yourself.
Yeah.
If you've got good contacts and they trust you,
Yeah.
you know, this person can work with this person can work with this person, and it can be a business off that.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Well, she's actually a yacht dealer by trade.
Yeah. Wow.
But think about dealing with people that have enough
They're
money
rich.
to buy.
Yeah, well, predominantly right.
Yeah. Well, the minimum is like 60 million euros.
Yeah. Okay, so they're big yachts.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she lives in Monaco.
Bezos yachts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
So she knows these guys. Oh yeah, I've got a block of land in Dubai. I'm thinking about doing something with it. I know the guy of Versace. How about I put you guys in touch?
Money wouldn't be the real thing, right? Like money's not the object because they already have a lot of it.
Oh, dude.
They want the power and the status and the connects. Because I saw that I have tour.
Yeah.
The buildings there are so enormous, right? What he's building out there, because I'm staying at the Palace.
Yeah.
And that's massive from that family.
Huge.
To see everything that you can see is owned by like one family as well. Like in that specific city, right?
Yeah, bro, they own this whole suburb, I think, by the
wild.
looks of things.
And in Dubai, you know, it's money is, I guess, no object, right?
No. Yeah. How are you going to impress me when I have something in abundance of?
Have a city, right? Yeah.
Nice Richard Mille, I don't care, I've got 15.
Right. Yeah, of course.
What are you going to impress
they transcend beyond that, do you think, with watches and stuff like that?
Say it again?
Like they kind of transcend beyond watches, like they go beyond that.
Exactly.
It's almost a flex not to wear one, when everyone knows you're a billionaire.
Exactly.
Right?
They want to know, are you a good person?
Yeah,
are you a generous guy? Are you religious? You know what I mean? Are you God-fearing? Because if you're not God-fearing, then you'll rip anyone off. And
they know that, true, they can't really, there's no foundation, right?
Yeah. But then, talking about women, I had another girl, right? She's a real estate agent. And when she was at my house, she was just kind of showing me something on Instagram. And it's like, her reach got like 26 million.
Oof.
And I'm like...
We're like, there's something here. You can promote me.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like, I spend this much money. I told her the budget, right? Because we've got editors, account managers and stuff like that. We've got a big budget for this, even though it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, I bet.
And I'm like, I spent all this money to do this thing, and my reach is this. And she goes, because I'm pretty.
Yeah. Big, nice ass or fat ass.
Dude,
it's so much further, right?
Girls just have a highway.
They do.
Highway.
Sex sells, right?
You know?
They already got a hot product, especially if they're the hotter they are, right?
Yeah.
So people want it.
Yeah. And they're like, do you want to live in this penthouse? And da-da-da-da. Like, how do you get 26 million?
Yeah.
I've got like Stephen Bell on the podcast.
Yeah, it's wild though. but they're hot, right? So they get to skip the steps though, but they skip the steps early, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like they get, like everyone says, they get their value up front, and it's what they decide to do with it. You get your value late because you have to earn it.
Yeah.
The Tate saying, well, the pawn goes one step at a time.
Yeah.
Whereas the queen can kind of go everywhere, right?
Very true.
But then later in life, I think they suffer from their reputation.
Of
right?
course.
If they choose to destroy their value early and maybe they are running around the yachts, but they get a reputation as someone who's a bit of a hoe early on, it can be very hard to really recover from that, I think, as they value decreases with age.
Yeah.
I think men is the slow climb, right? And the girls like the Bitcoin chart, 18, they're 69K before the bear market, you know? So they have to they cash your chips out early. But when do you cash out? You know, you're on the hottest shit coin and it's just getting better and better.
Yeah.
You're in Monaco, you're here, you got these invites, you got the DMs, you got athletes, you got this. So I can't, and they're given dynamite at a young age.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like it's hard for them, and if they don't have a good father, right? Like a lot of them don't have their dad there, so they try to navigate it themselves and nuke themselves.
But I mean, this girl that lives in your building, right? Gorgeous girl, gorgeous girl. She's Armenian and she looks like Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, Armenians.
Right?
Okay.
She looks like Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
And she's 35.
Okay.
She's a year older than me. I'm 34. And I'm like, when is yours gonna run out? Because she's pretty.
True. I think Armenian girls though, they can hold it for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
They've got good skin
Pretty.
and nice hair. Yeah, they're pretty girls.
I got introduced to her.
Yeah.
Um,
Holding it all out for yourself.
Yeah. Well, she lives with girlfriends, so
Okay. Oh, it's even better.
when we went on a date, she said, "I've got a friend if you want to bring a friend," and stuff like that.
The two man.
So it's no fun if the homies ain't getting
Yeah,
done.
true.
We're Aussie, by the way,
Yeah,
so you
right.
might find the banter
So,
gets a little bit wild.
Aussies in Dubai.
Aussies in
Which
Dubai.
city were you from?
Perth.
Oh, yeah.
What
Such
about
a
you?
big change, Brisbane for me, but I grew up in a very small town. But yeah, I grew up in Trogan South, so it's part of Gippsland. So Victoria was a town of 200 people.
Wow.
So could never imagine life like this.
Yeah.
At least Perth is still first world.
Such a big change for you too,
Yeah, of course.
right?
Big changes, but not the bad ones.
In Dubai, like I feel like I just,
You're halfway there. You were halfway there, right? Because you got the look. Like people, you walk around here and they assume that you're from here, right?
Yeah.
They don't think you're Aussie.
No.
So it's a good thing
no.
because they feel like they were one of their own.
When I'm at a restaurant, they're like, "Wakhla habibi."
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I don't understand Arabic.
But what do you think of that? Do you think that's a good thing, like that they're nationalistic? Like I think it's a great thing they put Emiratis first. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're not, you're not.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But you're not. But it's
Yeah.
not your country, right? That's
Yeah.
how I feel. Like you come to the other thing, it can be your country, but it's never going to be exactly yours, right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like I come to Australia and I would expect the same. It's mine, more mine than it is theirs.
True.
It doesn't matter how much money you have.
True, but like, here's the thing: why is it that in Australia, that Australians like that same feeling that we just talked about?
Yeah.
It comes across racist in Australia, but here it doesn't.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's the crowd, right? I think they just know that it's absolute here, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that you know that you're in the kingdom style. There's absolute decisions are made that you can't really add your opinion on, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's just
Yeah.
the way that I think it's meant to be. It's that if you bled for the country, if you've done things in the past to build the country, I think you have more rights than the person who just showed up as the country's one.
True.
Don't you feel the same with you? Like, you know, you're a success now. The girl who comes to you now, you're a bit more, I don't know, I have to assess her a bit more because I've done all of this work. Versus when you're a broke boy, just starting out, you're like, she's taking a gamble with me. So you feel like it's now, they've done all of the work, it's a sure success. So they have to be more critical of who arrives.
True. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I think also Aussies are racist. Like we're kind of
true.
racist.
I believe, I definitely am.
You know what I mean?
I'm the first to say I am for sure.
It's kind of like in our culture.
Yeah, I definitely am.
You know what I
Certainly
mean?
the racial profiling, I think, is definitely a real thing.
Like I've been called like a sand nigger all my life.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's true. My parents used to get the wog calling.
you used to get the one call.
The masso, get called wogs. But it's life, you know.
Yeah.
You don't cry about it, you know. You can either make it or break you. Some people just let it break them.
Yeah.
But it's if
100%.
words can hurt you, like really, like what could really tear you apart. But I guess when you're younger, it hurts more. But as you get older, it doesn't really hurt as much. You know, it bounces off you because you see the person who's adding the words. I don't take criticism or take any racism or anything from anyone who's not on my level, how I look at it. But if someone on my level in my eyes is giving me some criticism, I'm like, maybe there's something there. But I don't take it. If their life's shit, I don't take any real they look at what they say.
Yeah.
They're like the haters in the comments, the trolls, the add-ons,
Yeah.
adding their shit, but they're anonymous. You
Yeah.
know, if they had something to show,
True.
they wouldn't be anonymous, right?
Sure. I find that winners love criticism.
Yeah. Don't you think it fuels you though?
Yeah.
I feel like it does fuel you. Sometimes it even fuels you if it's criticism from someone of the same level. You're kind of like, all right, I'll use that. Yeah, or you know that you've got that negative quality, but it's also part of your strength.
Yeah.
Because it irritates people, but it also gets them interested.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't be. I find in life you can be anything but boring. Because most people, they leave you feeling like just nothing. Like most people, you interact with them, you deal with them, you leave their company. You don't feel like they've had a good interaction or a bad interaction. It's just kind of like, ugh. Like it's like a nothing. Like there's nothing being memorable. Like I think that with women and things like that, like you need to leave some sort of an imprint before you leave. Like not all the time, but sometimes, because you have to be memorable, right? What's common is not memorable. If you're just one of those guys that's just too scared to be controversial, too scared to say your exact opinion, trying to toe the line, it's just you're like everyone else. You just leave no impression. It's like a girl. Like you can do anything but bore her. Guys kind of like that too, right? Because the guy who's a little bit chaotic or a little bit crazy, remember him. Versus the other guy who's kind of like a yes man. You're like, I don't know if I can count on this guy. Because how's he friends with everyone? I find the same thing. The guy who's a friend to everyone is an enemy to himself, because you can't be loyal to everyone as well, right? You can't be everyone's friend. A lot of guys are trying to be like that. I'm friends with this person, I'm friends with this person. They don't understand the social dynamics. So this person doesn't actually like this person either. So when they're all hanging out together, this other third person feels like he's not loyal. Do you get like that? Like if you've got to imagine your best friend doesn't like someone and then you hang out with that person, would you do that?
No.
No. So you understand the social dynamics of things. Some people don't.
Well,
they'll post a photo or a story up with that guy that the guy hates and then be like, why's my friend pissed off?
Yeah, no. Look, if this guy's my friend, your enemy's my enemy.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I agree with that. Especially when there's specifically something has happened, right?
100%.
It's different if he doesn't like him, or this guy took a girl that I liked or something, and you're kind of like, it's nothing. But if something dishonest or something has actually happened, right?
No, but then that's different. It's like, what do we do to him?
Yeah, true. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean? You'll kind of get together and go, all right.
Yeah. And there's many ways that you can, even without the physicality, right? Because now you have the platform, you have this, you have that. You can use it as both a guard and an attack in life.
I find this podcast has become a bit of a guard for me in Dubai. Because a guy said to me, he was trying to do a business deal with me. He said, bro, I would not try to rip you off. You've got a podcast. You can just go mention my name.
That's right, exactly, And also you know a lot of people.
Through this.
Do a lot of... But it's good to be able to protect yourself. Imagine the Tate story if they didn't have such a big platform. They would have been muted. They would have been called what they're called. And then it would have been hard for them to actually add their take. So platform is powerful. I realized that during the Tate stuff. That's why I started to do more public talking. Because I had a fund, so I had a crypto fund. We managed a lot of money, maybe 80 million. And then I got the news article come out, like it's actually a competitor went through our Hong Kong records, because we were incorporated in Hong Kong, paid to get the record of who was in the fund. And then he went through mine, obviously, Googled my name. This guy's got a criminal history, this guy's got a DV history, this guy's got some interesting charges, let's just say that, and then published it online. My partners in the fund didn't know, because I didn't tell them at the time, which is probably my mistake. And then they said, oh, look, what do we do with this? Because a lot of the projects are going to pull away from us because they can't be associated with such behavior. And in the past, because they're raising money. And the crypto projects that we're invested in were like, you have to, we're re-looking at your SAFs, we're looking at these agreements. So I was like, oh, well, I'll step aside, because I couldn't go public. Like still had some parole stuff to do. I couldn't jump on, I didn't know what to say. So I just realized then that one side of the media had all this power. I couldn't add my take and be like, this is true, but it's a long time ago. It doesn't affect investor funds. I've never done anything wrong with investor money. No one's lost money investing with me. But at the time, I thought the best thing for me was to just say nothing and step aside, because I didn't realize there was an imbalance of power from the media perspective. And there always is, right? If you're just the little guy on the street, and then the media has all of this thing, they can say anything they want. And what are you going to say? Turn around and be like, oh, I didn't do that, and you've got 50 followers. They've got 1 million viewers. It doesn't really matter.
It's too late.
That's right. So I did that. I stepped aside. I ended up losing a ton of money just because of the missed opportunity for the next bull market. But that's life, So I stepped aside from that and then just did my own thing, which was fine. And the guys were good. It wasn't their fault. They didn't know that I had the criminal record that I had. I mean, I think they knew, but not the depth that I had in jail and things like that. And then, so I stepped aside, but it was the right decision, I think, because it moved me in a different direction. I started to go online and be public more, and realized the benefit of a platform to be able to defend yourself. And then I realized you can both attack and defend as the media. And then I started to think and see that they're doing this to other people as well, like using the media as an attack dog to people they don't like. and discrediting them, and it's not always like, it can be really muddy. Like when they wrote their article about me, they write certain words and that they make you look really bad. Instead of using it in another direction where someone they might like, they kind of twist it a little bit more forgiving. Like, this guy's a wannabe gangster, this guy's a shit person, this guy's a scumbag. It's very personal. Like, you can feel the personal things coming through the thing from the journalist. It's not like writing some it's a real hit piece, you know what I mean? And then you realize the media itself, and as even like a podcast, the podcast is the new form of media. You can add your opinion, you know. I think there's a good law here though, right? You can't just add your opinion without fact, right? Like, for certain people, if it damages their reputation. This defamation stuff is very serious here, right? Like, if you jump on and you're like, this person's a scammer, this person's done this crap, and you don't have absolute fact that they're a scammer, you can get cucked, right? Which I think is a fair thing.
Yeah, it's good.
Because you can destroy someone's reputation. With power comes, like, you need to be responsible with it.
Yeah.
Because someone might be a father, maybe they're looking after their kids, and you say something that might not be true.
Yeah.
This guy's a scammer, he's a crypto scammer, he does this, he does that, and they get destroyed.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
not true.
the thing is, a lot of people used to like scam people here, right? And then they brought in this law, which is amazing. It's let's say two people get into a business deal, one of them tries to rip the other one off. The guy being ripped off, he can quickly go to the police, lodge something, and that person cannot leave the country.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Well, investigation.
Yeah. He goes straight to the airport. If he goes straight to the airport, they go, "Oh, sorry, you can't go.
Yeah.
You got to sort this out."
Take that
first."
stuff really seriously. I know a friend got his passport held, not charged, but he got his passport held while they sorted something out, and then they let him go.
Yeah.
But they take that, so there's no travel.
Yeah, no,
you will
can't
sort
get
this
out.
Yeah, you will sort it out.
Because a lot of people scam people with 20 million and bounce.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've even heard people starting to consider, like, even the robberies are a thing, like meeting up for a crypto scam, like, thing. They'll rob the person and then quickly bounce out, send the crypto out and bounce out of the country. So it's a good thing that they have. They have a lot of facial recognition and things there. Right?
Yeah.
What do you think of all that? Because it's very safe here.
It's very safe. So Dubai Mall.
Yeah.
Is everywhere you go in Dubai, there's facial recognition, and there's plain police officers, plainclothes police officers that just come and go, "Hey, let's go have a chat."
Yeah.
Like, I love that because it's like. By the way, that technology is insane.
Yeah, it is. This is the face, how they can identify it.
Yeah.
They can be like, this is the person.
Yeah, that happened to a guy I did a podcast with. He's on Interpol for Sweden.
Oh, shit.
And he just went to the airport to drop off his friend at the airport. He can't leave the country.
Yeah.
And then went and grabbed him and said, "Hey, what's going on with this Interpol thing?" He goes, "It's been going on for years."
Yeah. It's not all Interpol is big. Like, people think Interpol must be massive, but some of it is crap, like, as well, you know. It's not all. I mean, it's pretty serious to be on Interpol, but it's not necessarily like, you know, like you're a murderer or something like that. It could be anything.
Yeah.
It could be you just wanted to be like a statement on something.
Yeah.
Like a witness.
Well, no, this guy's a doctor. He owns 12 clinics in Sweden. He just went on Swedish media.
Okay.
Bagging out the Swedish government.
Well, they take that very seriously.
Yeah, saying you guys aren't deploying funds accurately or willfully.
They take that extremely seriously.
Of course.
Because it's personal now. That's the worst thing. If you do something, it's personal.
Yeah, he's attacking. The fundamental, how we basically use the taxpayers' money.
Yeah, which is problematic, I guess. I assume here you can't do the same, but he's a doctor. That's his job, you know. But maybe he didn't use the appropriate means. But you go through the appropriate channels and things. You go through the government first. Nothing really happens. It gets kept, like, they put a lid on it and crush it down. So what do? You know, if you're a doctor and you see that there's a lot of shady stuff going on, especially around COVID and stuff like that. But actually, Dubai Mall's a funny story. I had a girl that I know here and went to the Dubai Mall after we went to Five Palm.
Yeah.
So we went to Five Palm, she went to the Dubai Mall, she had this skirt on, but it was like long but see-through. And then she had a bikini bottoms underneath, but also a top on, but you could kind of see her ass through the bikini.
And she went to Dubai Mall?
Yeah, and security come up to her, two dudes, come up and just, get out.
Get out.
Get out now.
Go put on better clothes.
Yeah, get out now. She's in Tom Ford. Someone put a complaint in or something because she said that there were two people on their phone.
Wow.
And then she went out. She didn't have like her ass hanging. She had you know where it's kind of see-through?
Yeah.
You can kind of see like a bit of ass there.
Yeah.
And then she called the guys just come up, get the fuck out.
Wow.
And it is what it is though, right? Like she's
Well,
like,
there's
I
kids
don't know
around.
what happened, you know, like I don't know why they were so rude to me, but it's a Muslim country. Like they're very more conservative here than they would be because she's Australian.
Yeah.
So they're a bit less conservative, right?
Yeah. Do you like that?
I think that with order, everything needs order in life.
Humans need order.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Because
they need
if we
to know,
don't,
I can't
we're gonna-
step over.
Bro, if we don't, there's going to be women dyeing their hair pink saying I'm a
it's
guy,
true.
or guys dyeing their hair pink or whatever, you know?
I think the same. Like if you're a guy running around with no shirt on, I would assume they'd kick you out as well. You can't do that stuff. It's their country. That's what I respect. As long as there's order.
Yeah.
And I hope they don't lose their traditions and things like that. Like they have the chants and stuff like that, I hear.
Yeah.
And I hope they don't lose that over time.
Yeah.
Because the corruption of the Western ideas just generally is very strong, right? Like it can push everywhere, theoretically, because as soon as the money and things start flowing in from different spots, they start changing certain things or trying to.
Yeah.
And it can be it. But it seems like they've got a very strong leadership here, which is a good thing, because without that, it's
the best.
It's chaos, right?
It's the best.
You lean just a little bit off can slide off the cliff, I would assume. I wouldn't tell them how to run their country because it's their sport, but I would hope that it stays this way, because like you say, the order is needed. Like there needs to be rules where this is the line and we won't step over it, but we won't also step over it and allow our people to step over it and things like that, because then it muddies it up. I think it's a good thing. I think that you know that you don't fuck around with drugs, you don't fuck around against the culture of Muslim ideas or ideologies. You're not running around and, I don't know, damaging a mosque or something like that. Like they take that extremely serious, and that's a good thing. They have their other things with women, like they're more conservative. With guys, you can't run around and use profanity and stuff. You know that they might say it in front of the wrong person, and he might have a problem with it. And you know that you respect like the order of the like royalties and things like that here. It's their sport. It's not my sport. So I wouldn't tell them how to run it.
No, I think they're doing a great job running.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job.
Yeah,
I think they're doing a good job, and they're very consistent. It seems like, right?
Yeah. And visionary.
Yeah, they are. That's a good thing for that. They're very looking into the future here, I find.
Yeah.
But how has it changed since you've been here?
I haven't been here long.
No?
I've been here 1 year and 8 months.
Okay,
Yeah, nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
But I haven't been here long. But from when I came to now, there's a lot more AI.
Okay.
The Crown Prince tweeted saying you can't spell Dubai without AI.
Smart. But they're good businessmen, right? Like they're good salesmen.
Yeah.
Like that's a good marketer.
Yeah.
Like he's a good marketer.
Oh, Dubai is the best marketer in the world.
They are, for sure. I think
marketer.
they benefited so much from COVID, because I remember COVID was on, and then I remember getting on Instagram or something like that around that time, and I could see people having fun in Dubai.
Yeah.
And people doing things in Dubai. And I think that kind of brought it up that extra layer, because there was not much happening a lot of the world.
Where were you?
I think that was Australia at the time.
You were in Australia. During COVID?
Yeah.
How long were you in Poland for?
Almost 2 years.
Ah.
Yeah, I was in Australia during COVID at the very end. Yeah, it was pretty
interesting.
Shit. I had to get one vax, which I regret. But the one vax signed off for 3, but I had the jail shit looming over my head. And I know that if they lock you up in Australia, they force vax. If you didn't get the vax, you had to sit in isolation. So in the lockup where I would have been, they would have had to give you 3 doses, or you sit in ISO. You can't come out.
Wow.
Isolation, because you're not safe.
Wow.
And then you have to sit in isolation with a mask on. That's horrible.
Wow. So, okay, listen, I've got questions. Okay, we could talk shit all day.
We can.
Okay, with
shit talk.
Okay, we could talk shit all day, but I got questions. Okay, I'm gonna interrupt you.
Let's do it.
First of
this
all,
one.
you said to me before this podcast, I asked you, you said to me, there's nothing off limits. Nothing's off limits.
Nothing's off limits. Let's pull no punches.
We can talk about anything.
We can.
Okay.
Pull no punches.
He could be incriminated. We don't know.
I have not. I think I know as far as to push it. We'll see.
Okay, let's see. I want to start from the beginning.
Yeah, that's right.
By the way, what are you known for?
I don't know. Maybe getting rich off crime. I guess I don't know. Probably.
There you go. Well
and
said,
having
actually.
been in the army.
Well said. I heard a story that you made money from crime.
Yep.
You went to prison.
Yep.
But before you went to prison, you bought Bitcoin.
That's the infamous story.
And when you came out.
Yeah, so I guess we would say it's a true story.
That's a true story.
Yeah, it's true. And then when I come out, it was considerably higher. So I would say also a large.
Was it 80 million high?
No, not 80, maybe 20.
20 million.
Yeah, close to 20.
You Australian dollars?
Yeah, Aussie. Now it'd be like 20 million US, because I also fucked up a few investments, but still.
You didn't sell?
No, I've sold a considerable amount. The worst thing is I was selling Ethereum like 300. Now it's 3,000.
Yeah.
100.
That's okay.
But that's life, right?
That's
You'll
life.
Take the L's
That's
or the wins.
life, dude.
Still a good return.
Hang on. What's going on? How are you?
Hey, mate.
You good?
Yeah, matcha
You want me to buy this shit?
You know me. Matcha latte cold, no shot of coffee this time.
I'll get this. I'll get the same then. What do you?
Yeah. Coconut milk too. What would you like, Shane?
Water.
Bottle of water?
Sure.
2 matcha large cold.
With both coconut milk
Both coconut milk.
and with coffee shots.
Yeah, let's do coffee. We'll just
One
put,
water.
and 1 water, yeah.
Okay.
Just keep. No, I got it. Don't worry. Yo, you're our guest right now.
Bro, you buying me a fucking?
You're our guest.
I think
What am I
dropped
buying you?
1,000 something. Coffee.
Look at just message me.
Oh, is that the name?
Guess it could be that time.
That's the name, bro.
Guess it could be that
Is that
time.
the name? I know from the name that it's something serious.
Guess it could be
hilarious.
that time.
So life's good.
Life's good, man. Life's this.
Oh. You're right.
Is this not?
It's good when life's good. Should be good.
Life's good, man. Life's
Taking risks, bro. You're doing things that other people aren't doing.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? To live a life that you.
But what
want.
do you like? Like, what's the goal with this for you? What do you want
With
to
the pod?
With everything.
Be worth 20 million US.
How are you gonna get there?
Huh?
How are you gonna get there?
Rob you.
Good. I mean, you're probably good. I got crypto in the wrong
my car.
I got crypto in the
You can
hotel.
take you to the desert right now.
Good. I'd be like, baby, give me my wallet, crypto wallet. I think you probably get one. I don't know about 20.
So what's your net worth right now? If I was to
about 20.
shake you down,
About 20.
US.
Close to 20, yeah.
US.
Yeah.
What
But
the?
maybe not get so much though out of it, because by the time you sell everything in some shit coins, maybe like 18 or something, but still.
That's okay.
Yeah,
18
still-
US
lucky,
dollars.
Bro. Like, let's be frank, I'm pretty lucky from crypto.
That's okay. Listen. Don't discredit where you are from luck. Everyone gets lucky.
Yeah, true.
Everyone. I got lucky.
Just took your chances when they come.
He got lucky.
Yeah.
Everyone gets
Yeah,
lucky.
took your chances as they come.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You
I
ever feel like you get a few shots in time, right?
exactly.
And if you know how to grab it,
Exactly.
and fucking squeeze it, fuck every step out of it. But sometimes you fuck
Yeah.
it up, and I've had that. With
Yeah.
girls, with life, with something, with a connect,
Yeah.
you blow it, you meet a
Yeah.
good connection, you're like, fuck, I feel like this guy can help me and I can maybe help him.
Yeah.
And then you fuck it up. You do something or something happens, especially when you're younger, because you're still kind of tripping over your own dick many times.
100%.
And
Well,
with
you're
girls
learning.
is the same. Yeah, girls the same.
Yeah.
I got a girl that you're with and you kind of don't really qualify for her. Like in your head, you're like, this girl's like really hot. I'm 23. Like, why is she with me? I'm fucking broke.
Uh-huh.
And then you kind of like, and she's like, yeah, I'll introduce you to my friend. You know, I like girls too or something. And you're like, this is like a running on red line in the fucking car. I'm over my head here. And then you can fuck it up. And then later you're like, fuck. But like you said, you grow into it, you take your chances. And that's those fuck ups that made you be able to take the shot, right?
But you haven't fucked it up.
No, not yet. I fucked it up that I should have been worth like 80 or 100.
Well, why? Because you sold Ethereum.
I sold not just Ethereum, but I sold heaps of shit coins. I sold Matic, Polygon. I had 10 million Matic. I sold it at, was $2. I sold it at 1 cent. So that was another 20 M. I sold
Again, sound
heaps of
coming,
BNB.
Again, sound coming. I have to leave the door open.
I sold a fuck ton of BNB. Binance at $1 went to 700.
Yeah.
So I
It's okay,
fucked
Shaq.
up
We talk later.
Thanks, bro. I fucked up many investments, but it's life, you know. Like you said, you take the good with the bad. But it's still weighs in your head. But it's life.
Yeah, but see, you can't. Yeah. Look, here's the thing. You made the best decision at the time with the limited amount of information
and
that
the
you
shit
had.
amount of info you have, you know. Like,
Exactly.
when you don't know anyone with money or things like that, it's hard. Like you
Yeah.
with the podcast, like it's a big step, right?
Yeah.
How did you decide to do all of this investment? Like what was the
With the
thing?
podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I
it's
mean,
a risk. Imagine it sucks, and if you put your name out there publicly, and they're like, "Oh, what happened to your podcast?" It's still a big risk.
well, I kind of feel like it does suck. I kind
It
of
doesn't
feel
suck.
like.
You got a really good concept.
Yeah. Hang on.
But how are you going to leverage it after? What's the plan?
Thank you, sir. Well, here's the thing, right? Thank you. You don't.
You give.
Yeah.
When are you going to get? What's the goal?
Well, you have to give without wanting to get.
Yeah, of course. But what's the get later? Because there's
Thank
going to be
you.
something.
Thank
right?
you.
Thank you.
But you give a lot, which is good. You don't give to get. I respect that.
It's yeah. It's you.
But you
don't-
still want to get. Everyone wants to get because you have to get because you're giving a lot.
Yes. So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing.
Oh, this is cool. I've never tried this.
Nice,
Yeah,
right?
it's nice.
Your girl put me onto this.
Ah, nice.
Coconut matcha.
Was it the threesome one?
This
is what happens, bro. Run this thing up in the middle. The divider.
Fuck it, leave it in there. No,
Tell him it was me.
you know what it is? Coffee sometimes makes you crash, and when I had matcha, didn't make me crash.
Okay, yeah. Especially you because you've got to be very social.
Correct.
How do you find this with your talking? Were you always like this?
Yeah, I was always like
Okay,
this.
so this is just a step for you.
To be honest with you, I got mates that message me and they're like, dude, you've been practicing this all your life because we used to sit in the car and smoke chuffs.
And
you know
just-
what I mean?
yeah,
And
just talk
spliff.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just talk shit.
And he's like, you just got it without the spliff.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, you could run it with that, maybe like a US version.
So you've been doing this all day. Like,
yeah, man.
that was my apprenticeship back in
Yeah.
Australia. You know what I mean? Now we're
It's
doing
easy
it
for you, so it's easy work.
To answer your question, to make money, you don't really make money on podcasts.
Of course, but you make the connections, right?
And the connections are pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah.
Just because you have the connection doesn't mean you're going to make money.
Yeah.
You just have to figure out how to connect them.
What's the route? Is there a route?
There's so many different routes.
Crypto's a good route.
Crypto's a
But
great
you don't
route.
want to go crypto route with the wrong person and something
Correct.
bad happens.
But I've also got another idea which I'm going to float to you.
Yeah, float.
Well, off camera
I won't tell
probably.
anyone. Yeah, of course. I won't
Off
tell
camera.
anyone anyway.
No, it's not about not telling anyone, but it's like something like, hey, I've got something that I did a podcast with. I've got this. You've got this.
Yeah.
If I connect those two, we'll
Yeah.
make a shit ton of money.
I think also you'd be good, similar to like the Fresh and Fit concept. Like you can just have people on that you can like kind of pay or your viewers will buy something from. And then you get like an affiliate sort of thing or something, or they pay you directly or something to be on.
I haven't done that. I haven't gone down that road.
Yeah.
I do this. So here's the thing. To answer your question again, like when I moved here, I didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
Didn't have any friends.
Yeah, true.
And I found that.
So you've built an infrastructure piece that they come to you for.
Correct.
So they come correct.
Correct.
Because they want something, which is
Correct.
the best way to be, right? Because you have value. When you have no value, it's difficult because you have to convince them you have value. And if you're just starting out and you're new to the city, what do you have that they don't have?
Correct.
And everyone can kind of laughs here. Many people act bigger than they are.
Correct. And because I drive to their house to pick them up, they don't come to a studio, I can see who's fake, who's not.
Yeah, true. And you would be very quick at identifying that.
I'd be like, listen, you give it the big one on Instagram with a Lambo and this and that, and you live here?
Yep.
What's going on?
And I guess you'd be very quick at identifying that now because you've seen many people.
And also, when I see that, I don't post it.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't put it online.
Yeah.
Because I go, listen, I know you're faking it.
Yeah, also your reputation, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
So,
You'd be getting good at reading people, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And 80% of communication is non-verbal.
Yeah, true.
Especially when they sit in the car with you for 2 hours
Yeah.
and you're just talking shit. You can find, when I drop like, oh yeah, 5 million. Whoa, 5 million?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so this 5 million is a lot to this.
Yeah,
guy,
of course.
right?
Yeah.
And
Or
also,
they're talking about numbers that you're just like, you're just talking shit.
yeah. I had a guy who said he exited his company for over 100 million. And I introduced him to a friend of mine who has like a Ferrari, a Bentley, a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, so he's actually
Maybach.
tens of
Yeah,
millions at
yeah.
least.
My friend. He's never been on the
Yeah,
podcast.
but he's a real,
Very close friend of mine.
he is who he is.
Yeah, he's a very good guy as well.
Yeah.
And he called me. He's like, bro, you know, I met with your friend again after you introduced us, and like he's in my Ferrari taking videos.
Okay, yeah.
Why is he taking videos in my
buy his
Ferrari?
own. Easily.
He sold his business for over 100 mil.
And he could just buy one, no
Yeah.
problem.
Are you sure he sold his company? You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can pick that up.
Yeah. Do you ever find like people say that there's sugar babies, but you find that with men? Like men are kind of can be the fucking worst, bro. Like men that are just like they want you to pay for shit, and they kind of want to be looked after. Almost
So gay.
So don't you
That's
see
so
it?
gay.
Don't you see it though?
Yeah, it's
like they always just want to hang around.
It's like when
And you're rich and they laugh. They laugh a little bit too loud, like a girl. You make a joke and everyone laughs now.
you've noticed that,
You would notice it because you got value. The more value you have, the
Yeah.
more people want.
but you've noticed that with people around you.
Of course, yeah. Not so much people around me that are
But
friends,
yeah,
but
I know what you
definitely notice it more than I did before. People pay more attention to you now that you're rich, which is, I guess, interesting, but I still feel like the same person, right?
By the way, he slapped the guy.
I did. Which one? Slap many.
He slapped the guy. And because we went to Thailand together, and yeah, you have slapped many actually.
Slapped a few, yeah. Slapped the guy, yeah, Thailand.
But yeah. But
Funny times.
fun times.
Jules party.
Yeah, that's right.
And a bit of rye.
Yeah, and you kind of read his body language before everyone else realized it.
Yeah, I think so, for sure, yeah.
But I honestly feel like I knew first. I knew from day one. As soon as I met him, I was like, this guy. And then everyone's like, no. And then when I heard you did that, and I wasn't there, I was upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
I was upstairs busy.
You knew it was,
I was busy.
right?
I was busy upstairs.
Was it the three?
I was busy upstairs when I came down. I was like, what did I miss?
I wonder where all the girls went.
I came downstairs, I was like, what happened? And I heard the story.
You were up there with all the fucking girls. I'm dealing with all the bullshit.
All the bullshit down there.
The pool's full of dudes.
Being called gay.
Gay too many times. We got called gay, yeah. We went up to, I had a friend of mine, we went upstairs and then come back. We're up around talking shit. And then the guy called me gay, come back down, called me a fag. And I was like, fuck this guy.
Actually, you actually held your composure and didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's when you saw other people were having an issue with him, you're like, all right, fine. I'm going to let go.
Finally.
You know what
Got
I
a
mean?
green light.
Yeah, you're like, okay, fine. But that actually
it's Jules'
shows
party.
a lot of character.
Yeah, it's Jules' party.
That you held your hand.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then I realized, yeah, true, I did realize it was a problem. So I was like, finally.
Yeah, exactly.
Got a green light, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you're waiting for the green light. But it's like you say, you don't want to blow up someone's party. It's not my position.
No, but it was funny. It kind of made
it
the
was just
party.
a slap. To me, though, I have a theory. If someone slaps you and you're a guy, and this is the prison style, if you won't fight for yourself, you're instantly dismissed from any social circle. Because
100%.
they won't fight for themselves. It's not about fighting for, it's like they won't stand up for themselves.
Well,
it doesn't mean they're going to win.
Well, also what he
They
did
do
was
something.
he started crying.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Can we go to the beach, Shaq? He started crying.
Yeah. That's what I heard. It's a grown fucking 30-year-old man.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be part of this group anymore.
30-year-old meatball.
Yeah.
But no, that's my theory. If the guy won't fight for himself, he can't be in your group because he won't, someone slaps you. I'm not saying, obviously, I'm not delusional. If a fucking king comes here and slaps me, I'm not going to do shit about it either. But most people, I would definitely have a go, do something.
If Mike Tyson slapped you in his prime, you wouldn't do anything either.
I'd probably
would you?
still have a go.
Yeah, you
probably
probably
get killed.
Yeah, you get beaten up, but guess what? You go home with your morals and you go home with your balls.
I know I'm doing nothing. I know I'm just getting smacked. Probably the slaps KOing me.
Yeah.
But you got to do something, right?
In his prime. Yes. I've got a mate that would beat the fuck out of me, right? But if we went to Italy, he aggravated me and I fucking started attacking him.
Yeah.
I know this guy will beat the fuck out of me. You know
And
what
he
I mean?
respects it, right? Because he knows there's a line.
Yeah, he trains UFC fighters.
Yeah,
that's
true.
what he does.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like, you know what I mean?
Sometimes they can grind on you because they're used to being like bullying around the gym, right?
Yeah.
They test each other physically.
Yeah. And I was like, listen, I'm going to get the shit beaten out of me, but guess what? I'm attacking.
Yeah.
Right?
He respects it.
And he didn't do anything. He just kind of blocked. And he's like, he goes, you're lucky you bring a lot of joy into my life. Because if it was anyone else, you would have destroyed it. I was like, bro, I don't give a fuck. You would have beaten the fuck out of me. I know, but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, at least you keep your
when you push me to there, it's about manhood now.
Yeah. I think the same thing though, because you think that you can count on this guy. Like if something happens here on the street and people confront you, it's this guy, I know I slapped him, he's not going to do shit for himself. If someone slaps you or hits you or does something, grabs your girl's ass while you're in the bathroom, you're at the club, you walk with your girl's standing there with this dude, another group of guys run over and grab her on the ass or something while you're in the bathroom. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything. He's an unreliable guy, right?
Sure.
It doesn't mean that he's a good fighter. He doesn't have to fight, doesn't have to win. You just have to do something, right? Yeah, and you can always respect the guy who's a shit fighter or whatever, but he just stands up for himself at least. Because there's no boundaries, right? Like someone slaps you, you're not going to do anything. You're unreliable as a teammate because you're not going to stand up for anyone.
Correct. But you'll be respected afterwards.
Yeah, of course.
Even if you get beaten up, you get respected afterwards.
What does he think's going to happen? That he's just going to get beaten up badly? He wouldn't know. I would have been like, if he tried to throw back, I would have been like, hey, surprise me, kid.
Yeah.
Surprise me. I didn't think you would do shit.
It would have been a couple of sparring, or a couple of slaps.
Yeah,
that's
so many people everywhere. Like, nothing would have happened. We had Raj. There's so many people right beside us that nothing would have happened further. Yeah. But I just thought. So I think it's always the ultimate test, right? Like if someone slaps you if you do something, and it's only a slap like 10%. It's not like a slap trying to hurt the person. It's just enough to be like, get your fucking hands up. And then if you don't, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this guy's fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Like he's not even a man.
Got it.
I can't treat him. I'm not going to hit him again because it'd be bullying.
So that was 10% power.
Yeah, it's just enough to get you to be like, fuck, get up. Do something. Like I have to do something. Wake you up.
Respectful man.
But they always think that now, like it's turned physical, so that boundary's crossed, and they're like, oh shit. But I find it's the same thing. Like the people that bully, it's always.
Yeah.
I don't know why they do it. But it's an uncalibrated thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why they do that sort of shit. But I don't like it because when I was a kid, I used to get bullied a lot in school. Because I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I knew no one. We always moved when I was young. Went to 8 schools. 9 years. I only studied for 9 years because my family moved so much. Yeah. So I was always picked on. You know, when you're the new kid, you don't have any allies. So it's just the easiest target. So now I hate the easy target shit. Yeah. It makes me feel, people pick on the weak. It really triggers me. Like pick on the weak. Like some guys pick on weak girls or something, and you see them like raise their voice at women and I'm not the first. I can fucking yell at women all day, but I don't do it for like no reason, you know. Like I don't run around the club trying to be cruel to girls or something, because I think it all comes from a damaged place, right? Like they're hurt, now they're trying to hurt back.
Shaq,
Yes, sir.
did you hear when I said let's go to the beach?
No, sir.
No? Okay, all good. Let's go to the beach. All right.
Yeah, damage, hurt people hurt, right? It's like hurt people hurt.
Hurt people. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. And I mean, but you know, like any man can yell and stomp his feet and all that stuff, right? Masculinity is showed from you being able to strain that. You want to yell. You want to, you know what I mean? If you can hold that
I agree.
and not do it, that's the power of masculinity.
That's the hardest thing, I think, is the self-control, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I've said before, you can only be like power and morals and virtues to me is only shown when you can be like you're capable of cruelty. Like if you're a powerful person, you know, and you turn around and say, oh, I said an example the other day. I said some guys hate on guys that have multiple girls because they can't possibly do it. And then they'll turn around and say, oh, I'm virtuous, I'm this and that, but I live in a cave, I have no options, I have this and that. And then the other guy can have all of these options. You know, it's life as a guy is tested when you have choices. Like when you have no choices, like all your choices are shit.
Yeah.
Of course you're virtuous, of course you're moral. It's when you have nothing, you're on the bus, of course you don't have 10 supercars in the driveway, you don't have all of these options of girls, because then you're moral, like you're virtuous now, because you're tested, like you have all of these options and you choose the right one. Like being moral only, and virtuous to me only comes like if you have money, if you can have power, if you're physically strong, and now you can restrain yourself. It doesn't come when guys turn around and they're like pussies and they're like, oh, I would never do that, because they can't do that. Like they don't have the option to do that. They don't have the option to have multiple girls. They don't have the option to have, and I really respect people that can have that composure. You know, they have all of the options that they can do many things. They have options of money, free time. They could sit around and just do drugs, or they could drink, they could do all these things, and they're still virtuous. You know, they're still like a beacon of morality. Like you look at them and you're like, how's this guy still in the gym? How's this guy still, he's got a wife. How's this guy got a family? He could do anything he wants. He could be on the yachts. He could do all of this stuff. He could have 10 girls. He could have all this stuff. And when I see that, that's what gets me. That's what makes me think, oh, that there's more to it. You know, like there's some morality there. I see it sometimes with the Muslim guys. Yeah. And I look at them and I'm like, there's something there. And then I see others, and of course you see some where I'm like, they're not practicing what they preach. But then others where I'm like, there's something there. Like they're doing what they say. And I respect that, you know. I respect someone that can put themselves in like a framework and actually stick to it. Whatever that framework is. But they don't bend their rules. There's no like breaking their own moral rules. They might not have a lot of morality. Maybe they think only a few lines they won't cross, but they never cross them. You know, so I respect that because they're in a framework. So I can look at them and be like, even if they're crazy, they might be in prison, but I can still look at them and be like, this guy has a few things he won't do. There's no rule. He won't cross these lines. Like he'll look after his friends, or he'll look after this or that. And then, but many others, they don't have, their lines constantly get blurred. And then you don't know where you stand with them because there's no like firm frame of who they are.
There's no backbone.
There's not. Yeah, it's true. And they don't stand for much. Not only do they not have the options that the other guy has, but they also can be some of the most judgmental people. I find judgment, it's such a, like, who are we to judge anyone? A lot of the stuff that I thought was crazy, now as I get older, I'm like, sometimes I think I could be crazy. You know, like your own ideas can be completely changed.
I mean, your thoughts are always changing, obviously, as you're changing. But I think your ideas are crazy because I can see, I can feel you, like, I know you're creative. Right? The way you think, you look at things inside out, upside down.
Of course.
You know what I mean? But that's why it lets you here. That's why that's that same brain that told you to buy Bitcoin when it was fuck all. That's that same brain that told you to buy Matic when it was nothing.
Of course. I always say the same thing with guys. Like they'll say, oh, Zuckerberg or Bezos or this, they're nerds. Like why are they such dorks? Why are they so weird? Of course they're weird. They're billionaires. They're building out all of the tech that we could hope to have. You know, you don't build out a thing like Amazon thinking like the mean. They're not thinking like the average. They're oddities. They're extreme people. Like the Steve Jobs. They're weird. If you would hang out with them, I'm sure they're unusual people. Because they're building, their brain is working very different. And you have to take the good with the bad. Like I'm sure if you sit with Kanye or something like that, you're dealing with like a person who's on the kind of a different wavelength mentally. So they would be unusual. That have moments where they're really good, and then moments where you're around them and you're like, they're like a diva, like there's something wrong in their process of the mind, because they're doing things different, like they're seeing the world differently. That's why they're doing this music. That's why they're doing their ideas that they have, because their mind is different.
What's your outlet in creativity?
I write poetry sometimes.
No way.
And then I also, you wouldn't expect it, And then I write, I do a lot of stuff on my Telegram. So I have Telegram and I just do like voice notes, things like that.
Well, you got like a...
It's the Telegram. It's like a free channel thing that I just talk about stuff during the day or something like that and give my ideas or what I'm going to get up to or something like that. And that's probably is my big outlet. I think it's similar to journaling. I probably had my biggest breakthroughs in life from journaling and writing stuff down. In prison, I was locked up, had a long sentence, so 6 years. And then I...
6 years?
6 years. I got 2.5, and then I had parole, but I still had bouncing in and out of like trouble.
Sure.
So it's kind of still was a fuck around. But so journaling was where I had my biggest realizations. I had prison, so I got locked up because of X. Went to the police, said that I was selling drugs. I got charged for drug trafficking under VLAD, so it was under the Vicious Lawless Anti-Disbursement Act or whatever it's called for the bikies there. Okay. And then, even though I wasn't in a club, I never claimed to be. And then...
So you never officially went into a club?
No.
You were a nomad?
No.
Is that what they call it? Nomad?
No, definitely not. No, that's a club.
No, Nomad's a club. Sorry.
No.
What do they call when you're...
You just do your own. I guess you're just like a... I was just only in it for the business. I wasn't in it for the other side of things. I don't have an issue with them. I know many people that are in that sort of lifestyle. I just never really wanted to do it. I also didn't see the benefits of it because the specific field that I was in, which was just selling drugs at the time, it didn't really need to be associated with it. I was like selling coke, and it's like you're selling a hot product. It's like girls selling pussy. It's just a hot product that people already want. Yeah. So you don't really need to sell it. You're not really dealing with the worst of the worst. But
when you were in that life, you were working with them.
I definitely knew people. Yeah, I've had associations with them.
So you were connected to them, but you weren't in that.
Yeah, of course. But then I got charged on the VLAD, so I went to prison. But then it was X that had gone to the police and said I was selling drugs. She found out I was cheating on her with a girl she told me not to cheat on her with, so I already knew. So to be fair, I'll stand there and say, I was not perfect. I'm far from it. Yeah. So I understand why she went to the thing. And of course, that's been laid to bed many years ago. I don't have any hard feelings. But then, my biggest breakthrough in journaling was just letting go. So I'd sit in jail. I've been locked up at this point for like 6 months. I'd sit in the cell, and every night, probably more, I would write a letter to my ex, to all the people that I've ever wronged in any way. And I write it all out, and then I would rip it up and throw it on the thing. I never sent it. But it helped me forgive and let go. And I would admit everything that I've done in fault. And then I would tear it up. All the shit that I was like, ashamed of or not happy with or things like that. And then I'd just tear it up and I'd visualize, see myself tearing it up and throw it in the trash. And I did it again and again and again. And eventually that debt or that guilt that I had just started to weigh off me, and I felt different. Started to look different. I felt like, I don't know, like I'm back. Like all of that weight and crap that I had, that mud. Was like I just almost could visualize the mud coming off me, the sticky shit, and then I just had let go, and I forgave, and that's the first step to me. You have to let go of the past, and also let go of any shame or guilt or something that you have. Yeah, because we all have something. I find something, and if you're honest, if you're an honest person, I think breakups, things like that, they're always somewhat 50-50. It's never you always see the guy. When I see him or a girl and they're like, oh, my ex was crazy. I didn't do anything wrong. He was a shit guy, or he was this. Something in my head, I'm like, they're both crazy. They're both doing something. They're both half and half. The truth is generally in the middle. And the person who won't acknowledge anything that they've done is faultful. They're I'm perfect, but my ex was shit. I'm perfect, but my business partner sucked. I'm perfect, but there's no nothing going on mentally. They're not being, their mind is not expanded enough to realize that they're also at fault. You're at fault if you only accepted behavior that was unacceptable and you just continue to accept it, you're still at fault, right? It's your choice. Unless they've got you that Franken, what is it, the guy where they locked him in the basement, then the way the guy locked that family in the basement and had them there, I think something like that. And he's like a predator.
In California, in Cleveland?
I think that was one, and then there's one in Europe or something. And then I can understand that it's not your choice. But unless it's that sort of level, you can leave. You can always leave. Yeah. Many girls like that sort of toxic behavior.
I actually saw a shirt in New York. I should have bought it, but it was that guy that locked up his 3 daugers and he raped them, and he had more kids. And
Joseph Franks. So that's the same guy. Yeah, something like that. So
his mug shot. And it was on the shirt, and it said "Father of the Year." So bad.
One you would wear right now.
So bad.
I feel every time they'd be like, "Who's this?" You'd be like, "Let me tell you a story, son."
Yeah. So bad.
It is bad.
Okay, interesting. So
depends what side of the coin you're on. It's still find some humor in something, right? I mean, it's like anything, your lowest point. I mean, I'm not saying rape and stuff is obviously at your lowest point, but you have to find something somewhere, right? I've had near-death experiences that I look back now on and can still laugh about. You have to find humor in something. If you if you take it too serious, and again, it's like a massive weight on you. At some point, you have to just let go.
Well, also, if you take it too seriously, that's the death of humor.
Yeah, true.
Humor
the dark humor is a part of humor, right?
Yeah, it is.
Sometimes the best part.
100%. So humor has to be a little bit,
It can be a bit spicy.
When you go to a comedy show and they're like, that's offensive. What it's supposed to be.
How do you handle it if you get roasted at a comedy show? Can you handle it?
Yeah, you just gotta sit there and laugh and roast it. You can't roast it.
I can, just in the beginning I can. But then if it drags on, I can feel like I'm taking it personally.
I feel like that's happened to you.
Yeah, it has actually.
Has it?
Yeah. I took it well because I just pretended that I didn't care. But deep down, I'm like, fuck, I hate this.
You're like, I'm gonna see you in the back.
Yeah. Once I go too far. But I don't mind it. I just think that I like comedy. It's funny.
Was this in Australia?
Yeah, Australia.
Yeah.
It's a little fat fuck though, so it's kind of like, I think that there's some envy there.
Okay.
Can't be roasted. To me, I can't be roasted by fat people.
But the thing is, you're well known in Australia.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, it's for bad things, mostly.
Yeah, but you're well known in Australia.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, of course. I believe.
I remember when I was in Australia, I knew about you.
Yeah, true.
Before I met you.
It's true. Known in high and low circles, but it's the best way to be, I think. You need both.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to be known. But I'm still the low circle myself, you know. I'm still the guy. My parents don't have money. My mum was here. I flew her here just recently. She left a few days ago.
Yeah,
but I don't have money. Like, my parents don't have money. My mum.
Can you go to Australia?
No.
Okay.
So that's done. But no, yeah, my mum doesn't have money. She hasn't worked for a long time. She lives in a house that I own. She's lived there for 10 years. My dad drives a bus. So I think that he might now. I mean, I haven't spoken to him for a very long time. But my parents aren't from money. Like, they don't. My mum studied 5 years in school. She was a Macedonian. She's Macedonian. She studied in school 5 years. That was it. She's grade 5, you know. She doesn't have a massive education, but she's a great mum. And that's what she wanted to be, and she succeeded in that. But yeah, I'm not from money, so I'm always the same, you know. I'm the guy that I relate to guys on the ground here. Like, if they're cleaning, if they're doing shit, I still respect them. I respect people at work. It doesn't matter to me what they do. I don't care. Of course. As long as they have that work ethic.
Where we're from, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all. No. It doesn't matter if they kill people for a living. To me, it doesn't matter. As long as they're good people to me. Yeah. I don't care what they do. Literally, it doesn't matter. As long as they don't do anything to kids. In any measure, like beating them or doing any sort of crime or any sort of crap to kids.
We're cool.
I don't care about anything that they do, literally.
Like, where we're from, like, a girl would go with a guy that is a bricklayer.
Yeah, of course.
Over a doctor.
Yeah, it's true.
They don't care about money.
They don't care about money.
Does he have a six-pack?
Yeah, and you can't flex on them either, really, with money, because they're kind of like women. And I think it is true, and I say that wearing all of this shit. The more shit you put beside you, the bigger the discrepancy is internally. I believe that. So he's like, this guy's got a photo and he's put all of this stuff beside him. He's put the Lambo, he's put all of this stuff beside him to make up for a shortfall, versus the guy who's just the bricklayer, but he's him. He's here. He's this here. He's got his shirt off, whatever, but he's got a work. Like, he's a person who's like, you can look at him and be like, he's a hard worker. His body is work. Yeah. Whereas you see someone like Marshmallow who has a Lambo, who's in the jet, who's got this, who's got that. But it's like, this is trying to make up with a shortfall of like physical objects. And it's usually true.
Correct. Yeah.
Like, I've put all this stuff beside me to make up to try and be an equal to the guy who's just arrived because he's a hard worker. He's got a career. He goes to the gym. He's got friends. He's one of the lads.
Yeah. But it's the opposite here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's the complete opposite here. You can be fat fuck with a Lambo, you get the girl over.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's literally the opposite.
Do you think relationships are just more streamlined here because they're just, and they go on directly transactional, but more in an apparent way? Do you think this is just the projection of how it's going to be in the future, everywhere? Like, it's just happened faster here?
I feel like it's a cancer that here,
like the Petri dish.
Yeah, like here, Miami, LA.
But do you think they're just the places where it's happening more noticeably, but it's still going to happen everywhere?
100%. I'll tell you why.
It's just more refined.
I own gyms in Australia.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
And I used to flirt with some of the girls there, right? All that. When I go back there and I talk to the girls, hey, how are you? Yeah, I see you living in Dubai. Yeah, cool, blah, blah. Come visit me anytime, you know? They're like, yeah, but you know, the flight's so expensive.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Right? And I'm like, whoa, what?
You telling me?
The flight is so expensive. I was like, whoa.
I guess I better pay it.
You were never talking like this before. And I'm thinking this notion is like a cancer that's also hit our country. And it will.
Definitely, bro. It's hit it hard.
You know what I mean?
The hardest thing
I blame you.
No.
Flexing so much.
The hardest thing too is if you pay it once.
Everywhere.
If you pay it once, you're stuck to pay it forever.
Yeah.
But the hardest thing is when you have money, it's hard not to be that sort of cancerous guy. Because you can streamline a lot, like you say, you can skip a lot of the steps. Yeah. Like if I just throw a girl on an economy flight from Australia, maybe it's like $2,000 or $3,000 return for a shitty flight, whatever. Fuck it, have a week here, a couple of days here. But then I've contributed to the cesspool. To me, it's not a lot of money. Maybe it's the same amount of money as a guy who spends $100 for dinner or $50 on a dinner.
Yeah.
But I've contributed to the shit pile. So I feel like there's some guilt there. So I'm very sparing on using that, like that. It's like the golden gun in James Bond.
Yeah.
One shot, one kill, but I'm careful.
I've got a friend here, very well known. His dad's a billionaire. And I've told him this many times. I've said, you've added to this.
Yeah,
you've contributed to this. Because you know what he does? He flies out girls to Mykonos or whatever, first class, all that, sits at the table. Nobody has sex with her. Sits at the table, pays her $10,000 to go there just because X person from Saudi Arabia has that table next to us, and I got to show him that we've got these girls.
Yeah, true. But girls are the biggest form of, like, don't you think they're the best form of collateral, like commodity? Like you judge a man when you walk into the club and he's with a toad?
Of course.
If he's like meant to be a billionaire or some Saudi royalty and he was like rolling with a prawn looking thing, you would be like, something is off.
Yeah.
Like, or like a really fat person.
Yeah. Yeah, but here's the thing. Like look at like Jeff Bezos' first wife.
True, yeah.
They're the ones that kind of make you happy.
He's got the efficient one.
Yeah.
How did it turn out for him?
Well, yeah, they got a divorce.
He's
got the new model now.
He went for the upgrade.
He's went for the upgrade.
But I think that, I think that women, it's the ultimate showpiece. You know, it's like that. You have to have something. You can't just have money to have a girl respect you. It's not just to have money where she's at the table, but where she treats you well. Because I've seen it where there can be a rich guy. I've seen it where there can be a really rich guy, and the girl's still kind of like treating him like crap. Like she's doing the photos, but very careful not to get anywhere near him.
Yeah.
Sitting at the table, like ignoring him. She's on the phone. She's talking to the girls. He's like fucking dishing up her food. He's getting her drinks and shit. And I'm like, this guy's like fucking worth hundreds of millions, and he's acting like some like simp.
But the thing is, he likes it.
Yeah.
He likes to be beaten.
Yeah, it's true. Well, that's a big thing.
That's his thing.
I think it's a big thing for sure.
That's his thing, and they find each other.
They
The
want to
dominant women and the feminine men, they find each other.
They want to let go of the shit that the king in certain worlds, and then they want to lose power to a girl.
Yeah.
It's kind of ironic because they can often end up losing your money.
Yes.
Losing a lot of money.
Correct.
But that's life, right? Like it's pot finds its lid.
So let's go back to money, right? Because we're talking about money. So you're worth probably 30 million Australian dollars.
Close, yeah.
Right?
Close
Something like that. Yeah. How old are you?
39. It's almost 1 million for 1 year.
Oh, wow.
That's the goal, right?
Well done. Well done.
It's good, but it's money is like it's.
What are you doing for cash flow? I want to know, what about cash flow?
I have cash flow just from real estate. I blow into it, bro. That's my issue. Spend $1 million a year.
You spend $1 million a year? Yeah, but like, what do you do for cash flow? Like,
I have cash flow
weekly salary.
Just from all my cash flow comes from I have a crypto group. So I have 140 members. It was 1,500. It's what, 200K-ish a year. But I haven't taken members. So I have a backlog of about 100 members. I haven't taken because I don't think that the group I think it's still value there, and I've still got the prediction of the cycle right, but I haven't put enough time into it to be taking new members. I'm critical of myself. I'm not someone who just wants to take money.
The money. We don't need it.
For the sake of money. And I also feel like money comes with responsibility. I try to take as minimum amount of money as possible because it comes with strings. I like to be, I can turn around and say anything I want about anyone at any time. Okay. Obviously not here. There's certain things you will not say. I will not either. It's not my place.
Yeah.
But about most things, I think that I can speak freely because I don't want to take money because then it comes with expectations or strings. So I try to take the minimum amount.
I want to know cash flow.
Cash flow. So I have real estate. I have the.
What does that mean, real estate? So you got houses that pay rent?
I got houses in Oz, pay rent, but it's fuck all.
But it's fuck all.
It's fuck all. It's a few K a month. Or no, more than a few K a month. Maybe 10 max. And then I have the crypto group. And then I have some other stuff that's still in the back burner. And I also have crypto. So I have Ethereum. So I have 400 Ethereum staked, close to 5. And I get, so what's that? Close to 30 Ethereum a year. Which isn't a ton of money, but still I get cash flows probably not that great, maybe like 6 or 7K a week.
So you're digging into your savings, but a little bit.
Yeah, but I always try to spend, I would say that I spend maybe a few % max of my crypto a year. Max. So theoretically, if you're drawing down like a couple of %, it's not going to really
it's a little bit. Yeah,
but it's enough that I'm still a bit careful. I know that I spend too much money. I have a spending problem. I'll be the first to admit it. I spend too much money.
Me too.
I spend $1 million a year and I can't tell you where it goes.
Yeah.
I've got crypto you can ask. I get crypto from a crypto guy here. So I exchange for cash and I'm spending tons. Yeah. Every time I get it now, I'm like, fuck. Yeah. But I'm paying an apartment in Warsaw. I got a house in Warsaw. I got another apartment in Warsaw that I'm paying for my ex because we broke up. She got my name tattooed all over her and I felt like an obligation there because she got like my name tattooed on her back. She got tattoos here, big tattoos.
Yeah.
She's still in school. She's studying aviation, so she's not a dumbass.
Yeah.
And then she was very upset. And then I said that I'd get her a spot for a year. You know, her dad is like, dad's apparently missing at sea at the moment. So he's a captain. He's been missing for the last 10 weeks. And she's 21. So I feel like there's an obligation there. You know, I know a lot of guys would be like, oh, you're a simp. You spent money on a girl.
No, not at all.
But you got the responsibility in this life.
You've got a heart.
Yeah. If you do X and get Y, you've got to be responsible for Z, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Then I've also paid my ex has a place in Australia with my daughter. She lives there. I pay her.
Yeah.
So this in real rent payments are probably paying
a lot,
bro. Maybe 15K a month.
Yeah.
Dollars.
Yeah.
And then I don't even have a spot here. If I count my hotel, I'm probably paying like 30 a month.
Yeah.
But that's life, you know. But I'll be cutting that off. So the house at Warsaw is toast. Apartment at Warsaw is toast.
Yeah.
That was a dilemma. Of course, there always is. We're running big parties there. I think we're running the best parties in Europe there. And there's always problems with girls. That's just the way that it goes. People fucking say shit. The hardest thing with girls, you see people's true colors when it comes to women. You don't really see them as much when it comes to money. But women is always the kryptonite of every man, the most. You can be a rich guy and they can tolerate you. But if you're a rich guy that gets pussy or gets their girls that they want, then it's problematic now. It's a problem. If some girl, the envy comes in usually over women and they fight over girls or they backtalk you over girls and then they try to derail you. And I wouldn't say that's exactly what happened, but I definitely had some issues with women there. I had heard a story that a certain government agency group was going to girls that I'd been with and asking them questions about me and also asking them questions about, does he treat you good? Do you have any complaints? Do you have this? Do you have that?
Oh, wow.
And then I was like,
yeah,
I was like, fuck. Because I also went to a strip club there, so I went there twice. And then they got all of the girls from the strip club, girl messaged me. And she's like, oh, do you know they got all of the girls here, brought them in the manager's room and then questioned us. Where we know you're from, where does your money come from? Do I know anything about this? And then I was like, I can see where this is going to go. Eventually one girl's going to say something or say, no, mate, no, this is going to be true. But also some complaint. The hardest thing now is like sexual violence as a child. So if you consensually having sex and you're a bit rough, you grab the neck, you like slap a girl, but she's into it. But then later on, she turns around and says, oh, actually, I wasn't into it. I had this or that. And you got texts back and forth. Maybe you got some like dirty talk or something. And that's like, can be enough weight to at least get something underway. And then if they can find a couple that say the same thing, you have a problem now.
Now you have a case.
Yeah. And now you're in Poland. You're not in the Euro, like you're not in a country you're from. And you're going to get fucked because you're rich.
Yeah.
And then then worst case, the best case, you get charged, yes, but you get bail, but you can't leave the country then. Take your passport. Yeah. And then you're kind of stuck in the matrix attack, I would say.
Paying for legal fees.
Yes, and also labelled a fucking sexual predator.
They're trying to take your money away.
Of course, because I had the Lambo, I just bought a GT3. I live in the probably best apartment there. But it's life, you know. I'd accept the chessboard and then just make the best move based on it. I'm lucky that I have good information. And I moved to... if I don't like something, I move. I don't sit there and fucking cry about it from Australia. Like, I like that about you. You don't sit there in Australia and be like, Australia sucks. Like, oh this place is crap after COVID. And then you're still living in the country.
Yeah.
Just move,
yeah.
Make your...
You're not a tree.
With your feet, yeah.
But that's so good that you quickly acted before that was able to hit you, because we have a mutual friend. He's a business partner with Dan Bilzerian.
Okay, yeah.
And he lives in the same building as you.
Yeah.
And
is it Alex?
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah.
And Alex goes, dude, the apartment that we live in is like professional soccer players live there.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
Like, it's real plush.
Yeah, it's nice.
So
but it's problematic.
Yeah. So
he's more discreet than me.
Yeah.
Like, he's more low-key.
Yeah, of course.
I'm more high-key, loud, slapping people.
Yeah.
It's just life, right? But it's, you can't be so bombastic in life. But you are who you are. Everyone has the quirks. But I was also, Warsaw, I had to air it, and I was taking coke there most days. I got into
every day?
Most days, yeah.
Wow.
Hitting it hard. There's nothing to do, right? Like, you have your businesses, they kind of run themselves. You have your crypto stuff, you're still adding the things to the group. But then what do you do for the rest of the day? Like, work for me, I can do an hour or two a day and then do nothing. So I was hitting the coke just hard. Most days, not every day, but probably 5 days a week at the end of it.
Wow.
So I had to wrap it up. It's just fun, you know. For me, it's always going to be there. You know, I used to do it when I was selling myself. And it's just always a thing that's going to be there. You know, my parents both gamble a lot, or used to. I don't know if they still do. But addiction's like, it's common in my family. You know, when I was young, I was at the casino all the time. Like, well, not all the time, but quite often. my parents would take me to the casino because they had gamble, and they would just take me there, and I would, because this is a lot younger times. This would be, you know, it's nearly 30 years ago. So you could kind of be around that sort of area. You couldn't be in the actual casino itself, but you could still walk through the casino to different common areas or see the excitement around the casino and, you know, go to the pubs and there's pokies everywhere. It wasn't as like restricted as it is now. You could kind of be around it. You could sit around it. And I used to see the casino and I used to see and be like, everyone's so excited. This is where all the gangsters are. This is where all the people have money. This is where the hot girls are. You walk through the casino, there's like babes, like crowd casino. I'm from a fucking town of 200 people. We'd go to the casino sometimes, like the big casino, and it'd be like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like, this is the life that I want. And then I ended up in the army, addicted to gambling. You know, I'd be playing pokies myself. And I realized it's not that glamorous. There's no, like, you know, it's not glamorous, bro. It's not a cool life. So addicted to the pokies at that point, playing all the time, just gambling everything I had. And gambling money of like my ex-girlfriend. I'd get money off her, gamble it, just blowing through everything that I had. I'd leave the casino that many times with fucking zero, and zero in my account, and zero of anything. Almost zero it out because of that. But then you're growing up in that, and then I just replaced that with coke, and then I wouldn't gamble, but I also had the other thing. So addictions is just, for me, it's always something that's always gonna be there. But here I don't touch it. I would never be crazy enough to do it here.
No.
But and the casino stuff kind of phases itself out, but it's just like the way that life goes, you know. It's like, I find that there's certain people have chaotic energy to them, and I do, and that chaotic energy is going to move to something. See, I always say that. People say, oh, but I'm addicted to this or I'm addicted to that, and then I'll just stop. And then I realize this chaotic energy is going to go somewhere. It's like an anxiety thing. It's like I don't know, it's like this energy, it's going to go somewhere. So it's maybe you drop the gambling, but then you're chasing girls nonstop. Maybe you drop the girls, but then you're going to drugs, drinking. Maybe you drop that and you're in the gym, one of those gym cells that's training 6 hours a day. Like it's quite destructive. Like, why are you destroying yourself like that? Yeah. Like I've said the same thing. When I see these big bodybuilders, I'm like, what happened to you? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, correct.
What have you done? Like,
what
broke you to get, why am I looking at this giant shell, like some big crab in front of me, you know, like something broke you internally and you've tried to fix it with the external.
Correct.
But there's still that soft spot inside that I know that I can break you again if I can find it.
When I used to walk through my gyms, I see like a big guy, I'm like, damn, who broke your heart?
Yeah, something
That's what I was
broke you.
Yeah.
Like, or who made you feel small, but you still feel small.
Yeah.
You don't feel big enough.
Correct.
There's still something like it's mental. You're trying to fix a mental problem with a physical problem.
The bigger you are, the smaller you are in your head.
Yeah, I would believe that.
You know?
They're trying to put bricks over something that's damaged them.
Yeah.
So something broke and they tried to put 1,000 bricks on top of it. So the external is strong, but internal is still weak.
Yes.
Something's happened. And why do you need to punish yourself so much? Why are you in the gym 6 hours a day, 4 hours a day, 3 hours a day? Why do you need to hurt yourself so much? And then they can't often understand it. Like, why you're breaking yourself still? You know, you're not meant to do that.
I feel like Dubai's so good for you then.
Yeah, Dubai's good for me for that.
Dubai's great for you.
Yeah, it's good for me for that.
No gambling, no drugs.
Yep, that's right.
And I feel like if you're here long enough, you will never want to go back into that.
Yeah, of course. That's the goal. I had my mum here. She quite liked it, so I can bring family around. So it's good for that, you know. But I'm very conscious of my flaws like that. You know, I'm not the guy who stands here and says, oh, I'll never do coke again. I promise my kids that I'm just going to I'll never gamble, you know, I'll never, because it's bullshit. Like, I'm second by second. I could be back in fucking Euro doing coke tomorrow. I don't know. Like, I don't know to say that, you know, like I'm living a second at a time. I'm not ignorant, you know what I mean? Because I know that this shit can change. It can happen.
So you like, I was going to ask you, have you decided you're going to live in Dubai and you're going to set up shop here?
Yeah, I'm going to live in Dubai. I'm going to go, so early December, I'm going to go to Brazil. I want to do a boga. So I'm going to try that.
Early when?
Early December.
December, you're going to go where?
Do Brazil. Oh, no, Costa Rica, sorry, to do a boga.
What's a boga?
It's like ayahuasca.
Ah, yeah.
They jump in the big dog thing.
Yeah.
I've had a calling for it for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Damn.
Never done ayahuasca, but I have smoked DMT. And I'll tell you a funny DMT story. I've smoked it 3 times. I smoked it once before I left Warsaw. I smoked it, I had friends here, some girls were around. I was smoking, they had this magical experience seeing fucking unicorns. Oh, I see these rainbows, all this shit. Great, beautiful girls. They're very sweet. I smoke it. I smoke it. Give me another one. Massive. I didn't even measure the dose that I had. So I hit it's like you hit it a bit and you can see some traces or whatever. But if you hit it enough, you kind of like, feels like you're a rocket and you hit the atmosphere, but then also just go that bit further and can get like into space. Yeah. And then I hit it, I look around I look out over the city and it's just nothing but like demons, like demonic, like just black. Wow. Like the place is just like I'm in like a demon haven. And then I felt like there was this like presence over me. And then my friend Akash, I don't know if you've met him before.
No.
He's Sri Lankan. He told me that he saw the same thing. He saw like this dim demonic figure standing over me. It's part of why I left the city. But then, and then the second, so I hit it the first time I saw all that stuff. Felt like, you know, kind of still comfortable. I felt okay because I think I got like a darkness around me all the time anyway. I think it's like my strongest side is that dark side, accepting that you got your flaws and things like that and you can still use them to your advantage. But then I hit it the second time. So the same night, hit it, biggest dose that I've seen, massive. And then I hit it, I go up again. I hit it actually 3 times because I lay back and hit it again. And then I get up to the top, like, so I feel like I'm having like an out of body experience, hit the stratosphere, go up again. And then this figure, like this like hooded figure grabs my face, like holds it and then pushes me back down to my body and tells me to fuck off. Don't fuck with DMT and don't make like this isn't a joke. This isn't a game. Why are you using this for entertainment? Don't touch this shit. And he said, one day when you can treat it with respect, you can come back. And I hit my body. It was like 10 seconds and I stood up and I was sober. And I walked around and stone cold sober. Girls are like this. And I'm like just stone cold sober. All the visuals, everything had gone. Just vanished instantly. And I just said, stop fucking around with DMT. And then I didn't take another dose and didn't do anything again.
So you vividly remember?
I vividly remember something grabbing my face and throwing me back to my body, yeah.
Get back
and I felt like I could see it going all the way down to the apartment.
Did that face look familiar to you?
No, it just looked like a hooded figure. I couldn't see exactly what it was. But it was definitely a man. And it told me to stop fucking around with DMT.
Holy fuck.
And one day when you can treat it with respect, come back to me, talk to me.
Wow.
Till then, don't fuck with this substance.
Wow.
And I didn't. I hit my body, stood up, completely sober. And I was like, fuck, I'm tripping out though, get the coke.
Oh,
but yeah, that was freaky.
Yeah.
And I was trying to tell people about it, but then I'm like, actually, I'm not going to tell anyone about this one.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to freak everyone else out. Because they're still hitting it, still doing stuff. They're like, do you want to try again? I'm like, nah, I've had enough.
My ex did it the day her grandma died.
Oh.
And she said her grandma was in a black doorway saying, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. Yeah. I'm watching over you, blah, blah, blah. And she closed the door.
Do you believe that stuff?
Do I believe her story?
No, I think you believe that people look over other people.
Yeah,
they do. Yeah,
100%.
So too.
I'll tell you why. Every time I see somebody that has had a death in their family, mum, dad, whatever, their life afterwards just skyrockets.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know why.
Do you feel like he almost collects souls to look after you?
Yeah.
In the afterlife?
Ancestors.
I think they collect them in the physical too. Like in the physical world. Like he collects people that look after you in the physical.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the more emotionality that is attached to you, if a girl's sitting at home crying about you or she's sitting at home loving you, there's power there. It can almost bend the fabric of time. I believe that. I think emotion can bend the fabric of time.
Yeah, but if she's crying about you, isn't that bad energy?
Yeah, it's bad energy, but you can still use both. I believe that. Like the hater energy, the envy energy, it's still there. But that's chaotic. Like that's dangerous. Envy and that sort of stuff, like the jealous sex, they'll kill you. That's the energy. It's the kill you energy, but you still can harness it.
If I've got 50 girls crying and pissed off at me and hate me because I broke their heart, I feel like bad shit will come to me.
And you could have 50 more girls.
I feel like I could have bad shit coming to me, no?
It's possible, but it's also opportunity, right? It's like I have a thing there, as long as they're thinking about you, it's still something that you can do something with versus the guy that no one gives a shit about, right? Like there's still something there. Being like indifferent is the worst thing. Like if a girl hates you and says, I think that you're a fucking asshole, I think you're this. There's still some movement. You've still got something there versus the girl that's like, he's okay. He's a nice guy, I guess.
So you rather them hate you than think nothing of you?
I think so, for sure. I would. hated for not doing something terrible. Not hated for being a fucking predator or something terrible.
No,
hated because I hear something and like, I hate that guy.
No, what if hated because he made me feel like he was going to date me and then he just had sex with me?
I don't like that. See, now I actually don't like that. I used to be a massive fuckboy, I think, and I used to be bad for that sort of stuff, but now I think that I'm changing over time. I think that's some of the most destructive stuff that you can do to women and to society is to just lead people on and bullshit them.
Yeah.
Like girls, because you're taking something from them. So you've especially when they don't have a low body count. That's why I don't like these red pill dweebs that are like, I only fuck girls with 0 body count or low body count, but they don't want a girlfriend. I'm like, why are you contributing to the problem? Like, why are you going to trick this girl who's got a low body count to fuck you, and then you don't want anything serious?
Correct.
Now you're just shitting the world up. Because what's the next guy?
Yeah.
Because then you're the next guy, and then you get her, and she's like, "Oh, I'm careful because the guy broke my heart last time." Yeah. And now they're contributing to the shit pile because the girl gets the same mindset as the guy. He who cares less wins. And she starts to think that I have to care less. I have to be the resting bitch face. I have to be the one that's wanted more. And now I'm playing these games. And when someone like me or you senses games, we're like, we're not interested. Or we're just like, this is a short time.
Yeah.
So they lose the guy that they might want.
Yeah.
But it's also originally started with a guy. So I don't like that concept. I don't like and that's not to say that I don't do it but I'm very much more careful than I used to be. I think that's actually, a big thing of shitting the world up. Like hurting women.
Yeah. Well, it's like when you go and enjoy a park, right? And you're going to leave the park. Do you pour fuel on the park and burn it?
Yeah, it's true.
No,
you don't shit the place up.
Somebody else has to come and enjoy that park after.
But do you do it now, like where you know that some girls wants you, or maybe you're going to fuck or whatever, but you know that she's over-invested, so you're actually starting to walk away? Like you're kind of like caring a bit more about her feelings versus just the old days where like, is that you just burn the park down, leave the stove on and just bounce out. And then the next guy can clean up the mess.
Yeah, look, now...
You see more, you're higher. You see more of the board.
I think to myself, like, I hope she doesn't hold grudges.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
And now you start to see, like, sometimes you can think girls could hurt themselves and stuff. Like, if they really see things are good, they can lead themselves down a path, because the imagination is everything, right? Yeah. So they start to imagine something more, and if you're encouraging that or fueling it, and you know it's going nowhere, in your heart of hearts, you're like, this is not going to work. Yeah. And then you're still like, baby, you're the one. Baby, you're the best. Oh, I see us with such a future. You're my wife one day. We'll have kids, we'll do this. And now you're leading her down a path, specifically if she's young, if she's like 18 to 22, she doesn't have a lot of reference points. Now you can do a lot of damage. Like you can lead them off. I know within myself, I could get girls to lead off the cliff, bro, to the end.
Wow.
Because you probably have the same. You've got you're psychologically talented, right? Like if you want to be harsh, you could be.
If I wanted to be...
Psychological is the worst.
If I want to be negative, if I wanted to affect them negatively,
of course. Psychologically is the biggest thing.
It's just manipulating, isn't
manipulation is the strongest, right?
You know what it all comes down to? And you know...
soft skills.
What?
Soft skills, like people skills, right?
People skills. But like, you know, like there's girls... Yeah, I talk to girls and I'm single, right? And I talk to girls and I'm like, you've been in your masculine for way too long, right? And they're like, all the guys I'm meeting are feminine and I'm always stuck in my masculine, and obviously I'm a real estate agent.
Yeah,
so
they have to deal with deals.
But the only reason I'm able to put them in their feminine, all of them, is because, okay, put it this way. How do I explain it? This is the first time I'm explaining it, by the way. So when a girl has, bro, it's the easiest trick. I'm actually going to give you a hack right now. It's actually the easiest trick.
I'm listening.
Not for you, for anyone watching. You've got it down pat.
I got to hear it too.
But like, when a girl has been in her masculine for such a long time, her familiarity with her being feminine is drained. She doesn't even know what it feels like anymore, right? And the only trick to it is just making sure, like, just showing her any opportunity that you can that she can't control you.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, I make my decisions. I'm the leader. But as soon as she goes, no, I don't want you to do this, I want you to do that, and you go, okay, then she remains in her masculine, right? Now, the deeper she is in her masculine, the more you're going to have to consistently be like, no, this is what's going to happen. I'm doing this. No, I'm doing this. No, I'm doing it. Whatever. But then they just gradually over time just come out of their masculine and into their feminine. So that's all it is. The trick is you're not in control.
Do you think you can fuck them out of it? Like in the bedroom, right? That's a big part of it.
You can fuck the aggression out of them.
You can fuck them out of it. I think that's a big part of it. If you're not fucking them right, then they're going to stay in the masculine.
Yeah, that's
if you're not laying it down.
Yeah,
like you have to still, because I find like sexually is when you can assert your dominance and show your physical power.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can't outside of that, but
what happens?
You can. I mean, I do.
You can like outside, I will leave a restaurant. I'll just you should grab her.
Yeah, of course. Pick them up
and just be like, I could kidnap you if you want.
Of course,
you ain't nothing.
I love that saying. You know, that sort of stuff. I'm a big fan of all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Always reminding them that they're
don't
physically
forget.
less powerful, because I find that women, like I'm not saying all, and I'm saying more the feminists or things like that, is they like to use their psychological power because I think they have more emotional power over men. You know, I feel like they can get a lot more out of men, like manipulating wise usually, because men probably are less socially skilled as women, like off the bat, like most guys. But men have the physical power, but they try to nerf the physical power and use it as, oh, you're toxic, or you're too masculine. Why is this toxic masculinity? Talk to me, because then you're entering on their plane. Like, because you have the physical power, so you still have to keep that in your back pocket. Like, I'm equal rights and lefts. If a girl slaps me, you're getting fucking slapped. I don't sit back and be like, nah, man, I'm the strong one. I'm just going to sit back and I'll just let her punch herself out. I don't do that shit. I don't think, but I also don't invade their space unless I have to.
I've got a karaoke bar in Australia, and my security guy there says, if a woman wants to act like a man, I'll treat her like a man.
I think the same, yeah. But also be the last to want to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, correct.
But I think that certain things...
You want to get rid of that?
Yeah, if I can. But you would be a fool not to keep that in your back pocket, right? Like your physicality. You have the physicality, why would you give that away? Like you have an ace up your sleeve, but they want you to pretend your ace is toxic, so you can't use it.
Yeah.
That's the brilliance of toxic masculinity. Your power is now a weakness.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Reframe.
Reframing of life is amazing. If you're going to keep learning how to reframe things or reframe things to people or women, then you can also change how they think about a certain behavior. I think psychologically, I think I am a master. Psychologically, I think that I can have most things figured out. I mean, I definitely have things figured out to get girls obsessed with me. Obsessed where they would do anything. You know what I mean? But I think it's a skill, right? I have many theories. I have theories that I probably can't really discuss on here. But theories of, if you can make an emotional, like women run on emotion, right? In my view. I'm not saying all, because some run on what they think they run on, but they run on emotion predominantly. Guys can run mostly on logic. Yeah. And both can be fooled in different ways. Yeah. Like guy can be fooled because his logic tree is confused on the way up. Yeah. He's got one piece of information that's wrong, and now everything is wrong since then. And a girl can be confused because her emotions can tell her one thing, and the reality can be something different. So reframing and things like that work well on them because they don't think as logically usually. They feel first and then they move from there. Yeah. So like emotions for women, especially if they don't take drugs, especially if they're not big drinkers, especially if they're younger, can be like crack. Yeah. Like if you can have, I have a theory and I'll explain it here. I call it the earthquake theory. Okay. So if you can make an earthquake in their life, I'm not saying where you do it, maybe you do it positively, maybe you do it negatively. And this is a girl that likes you. This is not a girl that doesn't like you or is not interested, or you've built no credibility or equity or anything. There's no foundation there. You have to have a foundation where she likes you. And they have an earthquake theory. So if you cause a chaotic event in her life, you can always pull back like a stitch in time and come back to that emotion. And there's energy there. Same thing where she tells you about something that's happened in the past. There's energy there. I've had some of the best sex I've had with girls as if they've told me that they've had some event in their past, like, maybe they had, it's probably going to have to get edited. And a girl told me that she had an eating disorder once. Okay. And when I would fuck her, I'd be like, yeah, you're still getting fat, you're getting fat. And then she would come. Because it's an emotional thing there. But she told me she had an eating disorder when she was young. She's like, I had bulimia, I had this and that. And I'm like, yeah, you're a fat bitch. When I would fuck her. And then she would be like, oh, you treat me like shit. But then, like it's this, the emotion. And then I realized like the emotion is like a dopamine flood, right? And then it's another thread, such an emotional event that I could pull back on whenever I wanted to. Yeah. And then I could get the same reaction out of it. Yeah. And then I realized like that emotional thing for her, she liked to be degraded. Yeah. Like she didn't like it in the moment, but now after it's like a repressed feeling or a memory, and now she sort of craves it. Like I've heard girls that get abused, they crave like different sort of physicality, right? Yeah. Like if a girl said something bad, like a dad used to beat the shit out of them, and then you're the new man. Their dad used to like slap them, I don't know, like smack them hard or do something physical, and then you're their new man. And you'll think that you're not going to do that or do anything. She's always going to be like, he's not the strongest man that I've ever had. My dad was fucking used to spank me or do something. So it's just the way it is. Like the more masculine the dad is, the more you better be doing like physical shit. I'm not saying beat the shit out of them, but you have to be doing something because they have to feel like they have to kill their father with you eventually. A man kills his father by realizing his father was just a person. Man, when you're a boy, your father's the man. My father's fucking this, he's huge, he does this, and then one day you realize he's also flawed. He's a man, he's like me, I'm flawed too. And now, but eventually I have to kill not contact with him, but you have to kill where you're under him. And that can be done many ways. One day you realize like I could kick my dad's ass. Like there is that point of thing for a guy where you're like, I feel like if I'm now gone above that. And now he needs to go to his position, which is the father. You know, he's your father, but he needs to step back and be like, you know, he's become his own man. And women, I think, need to kill the father by their father eventually becomes, the boyfriend is stronger than the father. Yeah. It's in their eyes. Yeah. And also a higher position. Yeah. And not in a way that they're like, this is my dad, but in a way where they're like, you know, he's gone above. Otherwise, I'm still going to reference my dad and he's not going to like you because you're a pussy and dad's a fucking UFC fighter. You have to. And the more masculine, the more you have to show that you're also of the same thing.
I've got a similar experience where there was a girl that loved cheating.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Every boyfriend she's ever had, she's cheated on.
Yep.
Right. And for her to orgasm, I'd have to say, hurry up because my wife's going to be home.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's hot. Yeah. I like that shit. It's a real thing.
You know what I mean?
But if you can get into that with women, like, you know, a lot of them, their fantasies and stuff are like, to me even, I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. I never knew that. I've had girls where they're like the straightest edge girls and they're like, oh, I wish that you would take me in the jacuzzi and just fuck me in front of everyone. And there's like 20 people there. I'm like, and she's like, oh, I'd just love it if you just told me to get my tits out of the jacuzzi. I'm like, it's like 20 people here, you're like a normal girl. What do you, like, what, if they trust you, if they feel like comfortable with you, if they feel like, you know, that I can let go, then it's the best route. But I also think it's the best way to be because then you can get the most out of them, they can orgasm and they want to keep you around because they're like, I really trust them. Yeah. You know, I could do things with you that I can't do with anyone else.
Correct.
Versus, and now you're very difficult to replace, right? Because you might be an arsehole. You might treat her like shit in some ways, but you're also flawed in others. But if she can be open with you, if she's like, she says that sort of cheating stuff and you're not like, oh, you're crazy, like, there's something wrong with you, you're a bitch, you're this, you're that, that's such a bad thing. Then she's like, oh, I can never open up to this guy again. Because everyone else says that.
You have to create
and it's all can be fantasy. It's not necessarily factual. Some of their fantasies, they talk up like they've had, they're like, could fantasize about 2 dudes or 2 girls. You just have to like accept that you open the Pandora's box, right? You can't sit there and then be like, oh, you're gross, like you're disgusting, because you're opening a box that you don't know what's going to come out, right? Yeah. But also you might be opening something that they haven't had before, so it's very addictive. Yeah. And you're now difficult to replace.
I've got a question about crypto.
Yep.
So you know how you caught Bitcoin? How much was Bitcoin when you
about $800.
$800 when you started buying Bitcoin.
Yeah, I was buying Ethereum like 10, 20, oh no, probably about $20.
So did you know it was like...
I had a Bitcoin story, so I went to a drug deal with a guy. I wasn't even meant to be there. He lived on the top of, was it Circle and Cavill?
Okay.
Circle and Cavill, I went there. I probably just doxed him, but he was a crypto guy. Okay. And he had a lot of crypto at the time, I don't know about now. And then I went up there, I was meant to drop stuff off to him. And his girl had left. His girl had just walked out of the apartment. They had a fight or something because I could see that she was pissed off. And I walked in to give him the stuff. And he's like, oh, do you want to stay with me? And he's like, because he's like, I'm a bit shaken up. And I was like, let's just have a talk. And he's young. He was like 18 or 19. I was like, yeah, let's have a talk. And then I remember I talked to him. I'm like, how do you afford all of this? Like, you're a fucking kid. Are your parents rich or something? And he said, no, my parents are poor. But I have like this crypto casino. He ran like a small casino or something like that. And then he's like, it was small at the time. And then he explained crypto, explained Bitcoin. He was like, you know, it's permissionless money, essentially. You know, and I was like, he's like, you could use it for your stuff. Business that you're doing is like, there's something there, there's value there. And then he started talking about Ethereum. Ethereum was quite new. He's like, I think this will be bigger than Bitcoin, but it's like, you know, it's told me it's like a decentralized computer. And he explained Bitcoin as like, you know, Bitcoin's a type of money. I don't think it is. I think it's like precious metal on
gold
the chain. Yeah, pretty much like digital gold in my view, because of the scarcity. It's mathematically fixed. The inflation's fixed. It's, you know, it's portable. It's like easily divisible. I think it's got many upside to gold, but the only one is that you don't physically have it in your hand. But that has a problem too, because physical custody they can take off you. If you're going through Ukraine border and you've got a kilo of gold, you're in trouble if they decide to take it off you, versus if you've got a seed code or maybe you got it in your head. But then I met him, he explained Bitcoin, he explained crypto, I left it, and he was like a kind of a dork. People didn't really talk to him much because he just looked like a young kid. And then I said, oh, there's something there, there's value there. And then I started to look into it and I started buying. I didn't buy at the exact time, otherwise I would be buying like 500, 600. But I bought still well enough to make good money. And yeah, I like to say that he changed my life a lot. You know, he showed me a different route.
Are you in touch with him?
I'm thankful of that. No, I don't know what happened to him. He was taking lots of stuff, so he might not be alive. But he had gotten rich young and he had a lot of Bitcoin. I'm not going to dox him, but more than me. And he is very sad. He said he had everything, but he had it too young. Wow. And his parents were poor. And he used to have a lot of people just hanging off him, wanting shit.
Wow.
So it's a tough life for him, but he changed my life. You know, I changed my trajectory of my life. I think if I had gotten out of prison without that, I would have been back to doing stuff, other things to make money. Because I was always going to make it or break. Like I knew that I was either going to make or break it. I didn't care about anything, and I still don't. Yeah. I think that I'll either be a success or finished. There's no middle for me. I don't want to be in the middle.
Cut for a second. Shaq, how's the battery for the microphones? Good? Yeah. All right, I get back. Okay, so so you got a crypto group, right? Yeah. Is that opportunity, is that opportunity that you had at the time still alive today with smaller coins that you talk about on your group?
I think it's still there, but I'm not going to bullshit to people and even you, I'm not going to bullshit and say that it's a sort of thing as it was then, because the market cap's so much higher. I think that if you're squeezing juice out and you're in the shitcoin piles, yes, there is still opportunities to get the 100x, 1000x, but there is more risk, right? There's more risk, but also we had different risks, because back then there was risk that it wasn't going to be a success. It's like by investing in Dubai now, you know it's going to be a success. If you're investing in Bitcoin, you know it's probably going to go higher in the long run as fiat goes lower. But the shit coins, you know, it's still, with more surety, more certainty comes less return, right? Like you invest in Tesla, you're a lot surer that it's going to go higher than it was, say, 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah, correct.
So there's definitely less juice in the orange, as to speak, but it's just more, but also more surety, so you can invest with a higher amount of capital. Yeah. But it's also, I don't.
Well, I mean, you got into Matic for what, 1 cent or something?
Yeah, I actually got in 1/10 of a cent.
Yeah.
We were in seed investor, and but I sold at 1 cent, but it went to $2. So I got fucked, but still making money.
So that's Matic is obviously more recent.
Yeah.
You didn't buy Matic when you bought Bitcoin. Obviously, it wasn't around.
No, true.
So you're still in the know.
Yeah, I still know. We still invest. Yeah, I invested in a few shitcoins recently. I invested in Apu, the coin, made 20x. Yeah. I invested in, what else did I invest in? Toshi, made a 20x.
How do you find these?
It's the research that we do, but it's also, I'm not going to say that I'm the low cap expert, because I'm definitely not. I'm an investor that's managing a big portfolio. So again, my weighting is still 50% Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then the last 50% is where the juice is. Because I think that Bitcoin, Ethereum is going to bail me out. If I get the last 50% wrong and all my altcoin portfolio nukes, I think the Bitcoin and Ethereum portfolio 50% will double eventually and still bail me out, so I won't actually lose money. But I don't. I have good return in crypto. I have a good knowledge of it. But I don't get some guys get the 2000x, 3000. I have before, but I don't usually get them for sure. Because I don't take massive risk, because I have a massive portfolio. So to take it doesn't make sense to just sit there all day and be investing in shitcoins.
So if somebody wants to have you who's got a team behind you doing the research, all that stuff, they go into a Telegram group.
Yeah, we get a Telegram group. It's free, the first one that I have, and then there's a crypto group too, but it's closed at the moment, but eventually it'll open. But I also don't want to run just crypto. I want to run a group for, maybe a group for everything. A group for for everything. I'd like to have a one-shop fit, but also like the spiritual side of life. So I'm trying to figure out where it all fits in. I don't like so I have to understand the dating and using women as like a commodity, and you do this, you do that, and it's just fun and everything. But I don't like the damage that it can do to the world. Like giving people like you, like if you give people dynamite, like, oh, say this, do this, do this, do this. You getting shit you don't qualify for. I hate that. I don't like that. I don't like anyone here if they don't deserve to be here. If they haven't done enough, I don't like to be criticized by someone if they're not done enough to criticize. But if they have, criticize away. If you have done all the work to shit on me, then so be it. If you've done all of the work, we go to the boxing gym and you beat the fuck out of me, so be it. That's fine. But don't critic me if you're not on that level, or you haven't suffered enough.
Or you haven't earned it.
You earned it. You haven't walked a mile in the shoes, right? If you've walked a mile in the shit shoes of, walked a mile of shoes of lead, then you can critique me. But everyone starts from a low position. I started from a low position. I'm sure for you too.
Of course.
Built it from yourself.
My dad was a cabbie.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lower position. It's not a position of having a big network or being like, oh, I have all of this stuff to draw on. I have all this information. I had no information.
Of course.
You had to figure it out yourself.
So still to this day, that crypto group, you guys are still giving signals saying buy this, buy this.
Yeah, we're still doing it. Mostly the portfolio is stacked, but I still give signals probably weekly or monthly of what to buy this, buy that. Yeah,
wow.
I was saying buy Sui, buy it at $1.50. It's now $3.80. That was probably the most recent. So there's 150%, but it's still, it's good. It's good.
You need to open that up. I want to get in there.
Yeah, you're in. But I'll get you in for sure. But I want to get a group that manages everything. I want to figure out how to run it and who, but I need the right people, right? Because you can't run it yourself. I realize with a group, it's a lot of work. It's not like, and then I want to run a group for everything. I think that I can run a group for dating. If I had a dating expert, I know some. If I had a group for crypto that I can run, for money. I want to run a group also for spiritual side and health and gym and things like that, which can be managed as well. Because I want one that includes all, but it's like a holistic approach. It's not a cancer approach, just treat women like shit and you get what you get and just fuck the world up. Don't build a business, just invest in these pump and dumps and everyone gets fucked. That's all crap, Like the shit that people chase is just the heroin, you know, like that little refined hit, but you're not actually learning how to fish, right?
Yeah.
And you're not thinking longevity.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, I just want to make a buck. I just want to get a piece of pussy.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do after? Like, if you get it, well, then what? Well, for a lot of them, it's just the spam approach, and then they destroy their reputation.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, if you approach 1,000 girls, you'll probably get laid. But what happens if 900 reject you and they run to 900 people and tell them that you're a shithead, or you're a scumbag, or you're a loser, or you're this and that? Your reputation is destroyed. Yeah. If you're running around getting rejected, like, rejection builds rejection. That's what people don't realize. Like, it's like momentum down. Rejection is not good. Like, people think, oh, but I just approached, and the worst thing she can say is no. No, that's your reputation. Like, no is not good. Being told no again and again and again. It's like knocking on 1,000 doors and 900 in a row tell you to fuck off. You're building momentum as a loser. Loser momentum is not good. Like, you know, being rejected, you're building something in your head that's probably going to develop into a hardness over time. And then eventually you're going to be like, fuck these women. I'll get good at it, but I'm going to punish them. You don't want to build negative experiences are not good. It's not, if you can have positive ones, negative is not ideal. Because you build a hardness to yourself and you build like the resentment. Eventually you see guys that are like, now I've made it. I'm built like fucking Hercules, and now I'm just going to punish all these girls. They still don't get what they want. They might get a lot of pussy, but they don't have a relationship, they don't have a family, they don't have anything you want. They just got a lot of girls. They got a lot of one-nighters. It's still nothing, right? At the end of the day, they still have the same as they had when they were a loser. Because nothing changed. They just got bigger, or certainly. And then for a lot of them, their whole life can revolve around women. They're obsessed with them. I hate women, but I'm obsessed with them. The red pill, like, delusions of grandeur. I hate chicks, I hate this, but I can't stop thinking about them. The incel. Women suck, but I'm also obsessed with them. It's like weird, right? They sit and do a podcast talking about women for 4 hours, why they suck. It's very feminine, right? Because it's also not changing anything as well. And you get what you put out. If you run around and say women are shit, you're only going to deal with shit. Because I believe like life and the world is a projection of what happens in your head. I think the world is like universe is designed to give you what you want, but also designed to give you what you deserve. Like praying is like still quite passive, like you're still doing something, like sitting there praying, but you have to then, like pushing the boulder. You've made a prayer, and if you start pushing the boulder, like God will help you get the momentum to move as well, like move it, and then when it's moving, you can do more. But if you just pray and just stand there like this, the boulder's still there. It's not going to move. He's not going to move it for you. I feel like God like loves a trier and loves someone that actually does shit, and doesn't love someone that just sits there and begs for shit. Like God don't love the beggar, I think. That just sits there and says, can you please do something for me?
God loves the doer.
Yeah, of course. Like the saying where the part of the Bible, I think it is, where, God gives one of them money or gold or something, one invests it and one just sits on it. So one gets the pieces of gold or whatever, I've heard the story, and one actually invests it and gets a return, and then the other just sits on it and hides it. And then they both present it, and one God is like, you've actually done something, proud of you, and the other is like, you've fucked up, like you didn't do shit. You didn't try, like you did nothing, you're just being safe.
Well, you didn't help anyone.
That's right. He who has like what, right? The story is momentum, I think. To he who has more will be given. To he who has few, what little he has will be taken, essentially, or lost. I think it's the same thing, like it's like the momentum, right? Like you're moving forward.
Well, it's energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Money's energy.
Of course.
You let it flow.
I agree. Money is energy, and it's an interesting way to put it. I think everything relates down to energy. Like even this conversation, you had to eat X amount of food, X amount of calories to have this conversation. Was it worth the calorie expenditure? Like you think kind of like energy, calorie is energy, right? Like was it worth the thing for some that's not? Like, you know, you talk to people, you're like, I ate this, I did this, I spent this much money to have this conversation, and my brain consumed this many calories, and wasn't actually worth it. So it's like, if you think of it in terms of energy, it's kind of like everything relates back to that. And energy is only getting more expensive into the future with AI, data centers, all this stuff. They're going to require a ton of energy, and I assume it's going to be more expensive and more like careful with how you use it. And as you get more, like your brain is kind of more expensive, right? Like your energy, what you can put into here and what you can push out is higher quality. So it's like, was it worth the conversation? For some, it's not. Like Bezos to have a conversation, it's probably not. Because for him, it's like, it's premium up there, right?
Yeah.
He can talk about anything.
Of course. Where does all this philosophy come from? I
don't know. I think that I was always into philosophy when I was young. I used to just read and things like that. I spent a lot of time alone. I had no friends in school. It was 8 years, 8 schools, 9 years. Always the new kid, had no friends. Used to leave school, walk 20 kilometers home. So by the time I got home, my parents usually weren't there. Then I would sit in the garage and then go into the house because I'd get picked on so much in school because I had real bad psoriasis. So I had like the dryness from hair to hair. And we didn't really know how to treat it. We didn't have a lot of money. Back then it was different. So I'd get like just massive dandruff. I didn't know what to do. And then all the kids in school would just be like, give me shit about it. And that's neither here nor there. I think it's a good thing. It built me up to who I am.
100%.
But then I just hated school, you know. I didn't really do well in school. I wasn't good at it really. I didn't think I was good at anything. I used to play Counter-Strike. I ended up playing professionally, but there was no money in it at the time. I played from beta 3 to 1.6, so I played a very long time. But there's no money in it at our time. But that's what got me the opportunity to move to Brisbane. I was in a small town in Traralgon, south. I moved to Brisbane because we had a sponsorship from one of the internet cafes. A friend of mine at the time his dad opened an internet cafe in Adelaide Street, Brisbane, Inferno Land it was called. And then I moved there on the game. I lived there, had fucking no money, zero. And then I started to build it from there though. I started to build a life after that. And then I started work security and many things changed after that. And then I joined the army. And then I got out of the army, obviously with an injury. And then I didn't get out of the army, I got kicked out of the army. And then
Why?
I got out, investigated for steroids, selling steroids. And then I had an accident.
They should be applauding you for selling steroids to the army.
Yeah, it's a real thing. And then also had an accident there.
What accident?
I had a bad drowning. I had a helicopter underwater escape training. So it's called where they drop you're in a helicopter, it's simulated. They drop the helicopter into a pool, you're in it. There's like 6 people in it with you. And then I went to the bottom of the pool. The person next to me got out because they missed their breath. Take a massive breath because it goes to the bottom of the pool, starts rolling, and then you have to get out. But you're in all your army clothes, like army uniform, you got your boots, so it's pretty clunky. And then the person next to me missed their breath. They flung their seatbelt off. It was a Black Hawk concept. I didn't realize their seatbelt went over my head. So then it was underwater, they got out. And then as soon as the machine started to roll, I didn't know. And then as soon as I went to take my seatbelt off, I was like, it got more tangled. So it tangled my arms and my head because the seatbelt was wrapped around my head. And then I drowned underwater. And then I had actually a really interesting moment. So I could see up from the pool. So I'm down the bottom of the pool. I could see up and there's like windows at the top. And then there's this light coming down. This is drowning badly. And then I had a vision where I had a hand go over my face. Again, similar to the same thing with that
Get back in your
story.
body.
Yeah, I had a hand go over my face and tell me, don't breathe. If you don't breathe, you're going to make it. You'll get out. You just have to trust me. And then they dragged...
Because you would have breathed in water.
Yeah, breathe in chlorine. And then they dragged the machine to the top and like lifted up. It's on a crane. And then I got to the top. I was hung. So the machine, I got out of it. I assumed
you were passed out.
Yeah, passed out. I assume I got helped out of it. And then I started to wake up and then I was fine. They checked me for dry, like that drowning crap. They'd check your lungs. They're like, you can dry drown after. But I remember something broke, like mentally, because after it happened, I remember I sat in the bathroom and then I sat there and 3 hours had gone by and it felt like it had been like 5 minutes. And then I remember just like stood up and then I realized the time and like the place was pretty much closing. And then I realized like something mentally had broken in my head at the time. And I think they said that I had PTSD. I'd end up spending 14 months in a veterans hospital. Full-time around veterans that are fucking from the war. Full-time. There's no leaving the hospital, like a mental hospital. And then I realized like there's a lot of people that are fucked up in this world from injuries and things like that. I learned a lot in that hospital about life. I've probably seen a psychologist or a psychiatrist, I don't know, a few hundred times.
So, and then did you get into being active on the streets after that?
No, after the accident, I quit and then become a personal trainer. And then 6 months after that, I would be selling drugs and doing things like that. But then I got charged and then I went to the army hospital after that because I was like, all right, what's going on here? Like there's something to be investigated. I actually only got to that army hospital because I was in lockup. I was locked up and then a guy come and saw me, one of the guards, and he was a Scottish guy. And he said, you were in the army? And I said, yeah, I was in the army. And he said, have you ever seen that something's fucking wrong with you? Like you think he's like something wrong with you, like you always want to fight, you want to do bad shit. He's like, you need to talk to a friend of mine. And he brought an advocate in, Bob Fittler, his name is, and he's from Brisbane. He's like an advocate for veterans. Bob Fittler is his name. He's like an older guy now. And then, yeah, he come and saw me. And he said, yeah, you need to speak to this psychiatrist. I spoke to them, I went and saw them. After I got out, because I got bailed, and then I got out and they bailed me to the hospital. And then I got under a care of Dr. Tucker's. Perce Tucker is an amazing psychiatrist, probably saved my life. You know, he's did many things. He's a professional, very good with PTSD from the army. And yeah, I got diagnosed and with PTSD and did treatment after that. But I've had so many fucking treatments that you could ever imagine. I've had the But there's like an injection that they do for the neck, stellate ganglion block. I had that 3 times.
Wow.
To try and calm down your nervous system.
Wow.
I've had EMDR. I've had the one where they do the EMDR's one that actually works well. I had hyperbaric, that actually works very well, hyperbaric therapy. It like lets you remember memories, because when you're depressed or when you're anxious too, apparently certain parts of your brain, like the blood or the oxygen or something, doesn't go to as much. Like it actually starts to turn off to a point, like it slows it down, which is like like a race to the bottom, right? Like you need that to be functioning. So a lot of the oxygen and things from hyperbaric can flood your mind and actually recharge you. And then I had so many treatments, like a psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist, behavioral stuff, PTSD program. I did everything. And then after that, I'd go to prison from hospital, which was interesting. And then
they're gonna fix you, they're gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, and then I went to prison on fucking Seroquel. So I had to take the meds. I was on Seroquel when they locked me up. And then I had come off Seroquel in jail, and I was vomiting for like 2 weeks straight. Coming off Seroquel, this was like an antipsychotic for PTSD.
Antipsychotic.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty heavy shit. And then I haven't taken medication since then, but I used to take a lot in that hospital. It's like mandatory, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I know that if I don't abide by the care, I go to prison. Because I was bailed to that spot. But it was really good for me. It slowed me down. I was sleeping along. I saw a lot of the guys, the good guys. There's around a lot of like death though.
In
like,
prison?
No, in hospital.
In hospital.
Because you're around a lot of people that are kind of injured. It's very negative, like a hospital for 14 months. Like that breaks people. It's worse than jail, because you're around a lot of people that are dying, they're negative, the family's upset. You're dealing with a lot of people that are like, very stressed, very
What about
anxious.
nurses that do that every day? Like, are you thinking my heart goes out to them? How do they do it?
Yeah, they have a very hard job. I'm very, very sympathetic for nurses. I think they're not paid enough.
100%.
They're not paid enough, paramedics not paid enough, firefighters not paid enough. Funny thing is, all of the tools and all of the things that the world can't run without, like a cleaner or something like that. People don't understand Valley. Like they don't think that they're like valuable people. They're not people. Their interpretation of value was like fucking delusional. Like they think that all of this watches and crap, like that shit matters. Like I say this many times to people. I'm like, I could lose all of this shit tomorrow. I could lose my apartment. I can lose everything tomorrow and still be happy with myself.
100%.
Doesn't matter.
You might even be happier.
Yeah, of course. I feel like sometimes it's like a ball and chain, like a weight, right? Like a
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel like you're wearing like a costume.
Yeah.
Don't you think sometimes, like you can be, because people don't realize what has value.
Yeah.
They think what has value is if I wear a fucking big iced tea chain down to my ankle. They're like, oh, this guy knows something. Like you see the rappers and things like that, they're overcompensating that they have put all this stuff beside them because shit is missing. Yeah. But the average person doesn't think like deep. They're like, why is Tiger wearing a giant chain? Why is he wearing all this shit? Why has he got all of these killers around him, so to speak? And like, why is he acting like some thug?
Yeah.
But he's the fucking rapper.
100%.
Like he's an artist. An artist is not a gangster. Like they're so far from being the same.
It's the opposite.
Yeah, of course. Like it's like the kid who drew in class is a bad boy.
Yeah.
Like Tupac or something. But then he's great. Like he's a great for what he is. Why do they always have to be more? Like why can't you just be an artist?
Yeah.
Like why do you have to be an artist and a killer? Like it's always has to be so fucking wild.
Like Picasso draws like this, Michelangelo draws like this. They're an artist that is gangster.
I agree. But it's an image, right? They're selling an image.
They're selling an image, correct. Yeah. I spoke to a guy who used to be a billionaire, and he said the same thing. He said, look, to be honest, I don't give a fuck about money.
Yeah.
The thing that I care about, the thing that bothers me the most is that I can't help anyone anymore.
Yeah.
That's where hey, someone's mum died, they can't afford a grave, I would buy the grave. Yeah, do you know how good I feel? And he goes, and also when I had the money, like I had the super yacht, do you know I had 16 staff working for me full time on the super yacht, and I was only on it maybe 6 weeks of the year?
Yeah, it's wild. They're doing this shit at a different level, right?
Yeah, so he said to me basically like all these things weigh you down.
Yeah. More money, more problems, right?
Yeah.
Big boss.
Yeah, he goes, all these things weigh you down. I think I got 16 people working and I'd never go on that thing.
Yeah, and you always feel like, that money could have been better spent on other things. Like I feel like with girls, if I'm spending X on a girl, I'm like, couldn't I spend X on someone who deserves it?
I think to myself all the time.
Like on a kid who's fucked. Like I had a thing the other week, I bought kids at the boxing gym in Warsaw. I bought them, I don't know, maybe like $2,000 worth of boxing equipment. I had a girl that I just sent, just recently, she's got a physical disability. I sent her, I don't know, $1,000 every Christmas. I had another kid, another girl's dad's in jail. I sent her another $1,000 a month. I have friends in jail. I send them probably thousands a month. I always try to help people. I was at Poland Positive Ways. I donated almost $100,000 to the thing. I always try to help people because I feel like there's a karmic debt and you have to pay it back. But I give to be selfish. I only give for that feeling that I get myself. I don't give to fucking It is what it is. I think for a lot of things, I feel like sometimes people are NPCs, like I give and they disappear into the ether. I feel like they're part of my story. I don't feel like I feel like, who knows, after we leave this, maybe you just disappear into the ether as well. Like you're part of my story. That's what I feel. I feel like this world is designed to give me exactly what I want, and that's it. And that's how I live. But I also live to give as well.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to give my piece back as well. So I don't expect anything for free or anything that I haven't earned in life.
Free doesn't exist.
But I also feel like that's the story. You know, like I feel like you're just a part of my story, and I feel like you should think that I'm a part of your story, because that's how we have to live. And we're not living to fucking live for other people. Like that's bullshit. You're living because for other people because there's an inadequacy. You got mummy issues, daddy issues. Someone broke you along the way, and now you're trying to please them, and now you're projecting their shit onto this other person. You're like, if I can solve their equation or their problem, then I let all of that shit go. But it doesn't work like that. That's not how life is. You have to live for you. And you'll never amount to shit if you're just like living for someone else. If your value is all external, you'll be a slave your whole life. If I know that you need something from me, then I own you. And I will not give it to you until I get my shit.
Correct.
Whereas if I know that everything you have is inside, I'm like, oh, well, he's a strong guy, but he's a teammate. Like he's someone that I can work with, because no one else can leverage him either. He doesn't have an Achilles heel, so to speak.
Correct.
Which is the way that it is. He doesn't have a thumb screw, right?
Who, if you had to choose one person in your life that you're trying to make proud or impress, who is that person?
I don't actually have anyone.
Your
not
mom?
even God. No, not even no one.
You're not trying to impress her or make her proud?
No, now. Only me. Not even myself. I feel like I'm...
Dad?
I know. I'd let that go
Daughter?
a long time ago. No. Not even that. Not even her. I'm doing it for me. Like, I feel like everything's an extension of myself. I feel like if I get what I want, if I'm strong, if I do everything that I want, then I can help everyone by proxy. Like everyone wins. If dad wins, she wins, everyone wins. Because a strong dad, a dad who's doing what he wants, and a dad who's on task, a dad who's building a life for her and a network and things like that she can herself move into, is the winner, is going to win for everyone. I feel like, I have a lot of people that count on me. I have people in prison. I have my mom. I have my dad sometimes. I have my ex. I have my daughter. I have friends. And they all count on me, and I will give shit. Ex, yeah, my other ex is fucking paying for an apartment. I have people that count on me where if I don't deliver, shit happens, like the world fucking can fall. So I have to, I'm at a zero, like I'm on dead ground every day, and I love that. I love that if it all stops with me, and I have no one to blame if shit falls apart. It's all me. I don't sit there and be like, but my ex didn't do this, so it all collapsed. It's on me, and that's exactly where I want it. I want all the fucking responsibility, because with the responsibility comes power. But the responsibility becomes like I can make calls for you. Because if I'm responsible for you, if I'm doing things for you, then I can also influence you and do things. And you also have to, I like the control. I'm not delusional to think that. And I'm not ashamed to say that. I think you should be in control of your whole world as much as you can. You can't control everything, like maybe someone does something or something external, and shit can happen every now and then, accidents. But the more you can control of your world, the more better your life will be, I think. But I think that we create, like I judge a man by the world he's created. I don't judge him by what he's done, like what he says or what he does. Show me his world. Is his world one I want to live? Is his world something I look at and be like, for him, it's perfect? Because what has he done? It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter if you fucking come and tell me my IQ is 200, but your life's shit. I don't care about that. What have you actually been able to create in this world? Like, what have you bet the fabric of time to do something? Like, what do you have? Do you have a family? Do you have good God connection with the religion that you claim is your good connection with God? Do you have good connection with friends? Do you have good network? Do you have good physical fitness, boundaries? Are you a man? It doesn't matter, like a lot of people say, but I've got this degree, I'm an intellectual, I'm this and that, but their life's crap, sitting in the basement. Well, you're flawed, like you haven't delivered anything. It's about, like you say, it's action trumps all. And when you start from a low position, you have to take more risks in life. People are risk adverse, and risk adverse as a man is a very big turn off for women. And it's also a very big turn off for a friend, because you're not going to amount to shit. Like, you have to take these risks. There's no one's going to give you what you want. Like you, starting with dad's a cab driver. Like, you have to take risks. He started a position where he's good for him. It's for some, it's my mum's good for her. She was ahead of her mum. She got us here. She got us to Australia. She did her fucking job. Like, your job is about putting the ball. Sometimes you start from a low position, and your job is about pushing the ball 5 meters down the pitch. Traralgon, so Victoria.
Okay.
Your job is just pushing the ball 5 meters. Maybe that's it. Maybe your dad's a drunk. Maybe he's a drug addict. Maybe it's this, is that. And you start, your position is, I'm just going to put my kids in a safe environment. My dad is a fucking dopehead. So maybe I'm just going to get him in a safe environment, and then they can figure it out from there. And my job is I'm a cleaner now, and now I just provide this shit for my life. And the next kids are going to go to uni. And now they're going to get a bigger idea, and they're going to be safe, so they're going to actually be able to get their hierarchy of needs set. Because safety is a big one. And now they can actually see more of the world than I could see. And people aren't ready to lay the sacrifice down. Like, life as a man is about sacrifice and duty. You could do duty to your kids. If you want to have kids, and you have to push that ball further. You inherit nothing, maybe your kid inherits a house. You inherited shit, education, maybe your kid goes just that little bit further. But you have to ride them. It doesn't matter what they fucking want. My kid, it doesn't matter what she wants. If she comes to me and says, I don't want to do this, you fucking do it. Or fuck off. It's not like it's the liver for me. There's shit with my kid, and I love her and I love her to death, but there is a level of expectations. There is shit you can do to be disowned. There is shit you can do to be put in the desert. Even as my family, that's life. It's like the liver.
Even your family?
Yes, I believe that, of course.
You could put one of your family members in the desert?
If I had to, yeah.
Bury them?
I would, yeah. There's certain lines that you can't cross.
Like what? What
abuse, line of abuse.
What line would your mum have to cross for you to have to kill her?
Abuse or abuse my kid, something like that. Which would never happen, of course. But there are lines, of course. There are boundaries there. It's not. There's nothing.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, I can't imagine it, but I would do what I do because I feel like actions have consequences.
Yeah. What are you scared of? Scared of poverty, cancer? What are you scared of? Losing your mum, losing. What's that one thing you're like? Fuck! That day that comes, I'm scared of that.
Outliving your kid, I think, would be pretty scary.
Okay.
I feel like that's a definite bad one. Heather would never want that.
That's not
but
natural.
I also would want that. I also would want it if it was to come, because I would want to be there, to be the one that has to do it all, because I feel like it's on the man, right? But I would never hope for it. I mean, I would lay my life down 100 times for a kid. I feel like kids is the most, like, a kid comes and they have so much potential. They can be anything or they can be nothing, but it all depends on you, right? Like, you're sculpting them in real time. Like, we're sculpting the universe in real time, yes, but kids, it's like a seed has arrived, and it could be fucking anything. But it could also be anything shit. But it also just depends on the environment and who they're around, and obviously genetics and things plays a part of it, but it's still, it's dependent on the person. So it's just a massive responsibility, but it's also just so much potential. And it feels good, right? Like, to see people change, you would see it. Like, you circle, or you do a podcast and you see someone blow up, or you see someone, you're like, I was a part of that. See, people don't fucking like that shit. They don't like to be a teammate. They think that they always want to be the quarterback, or I have to run the ball the whole way. They don't realize that the blocker's done his job. The guy who's, the quarterback's done his job. The coach has done his job, and they need to get proud from fucking their part. Like, sometimes this person is destined for big things that go beyond you, but you also have to stand there and be like, that wasn't possible without me. So I feel a good level of pride. People don't feel that. They're like, oh, but I'm not the man. He's viral. I didn't get as much like Clout, or he didn't get as much, or he's got more money, or he's got this and that. You got what you got. And we all get like what we deserve, right? And it's fine. You have to take like pride from different things. We get moments in time. And in the scheme of life, it's the moment.
Damn.
It's like a sneeze.
Yeah. There's a window into Stephen Bell's world in his brain.
Yeah, it's the window.
Welcome to the circus, ladies and gentlemen.
Athens, get the symbols out.
Get your tickets.
Athens.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Very good to see you.
Appreciate you. Good seeing you.
Good to see you.
This has been Stephen. Let's go.